nito sa ating bansa at sa buong mundo. Ang lahat ng ito ay aming pinapanalangin sa iyo, aming Panginoon. Ayan. Indeed, mga kaibigan, mga friends, na sa kabila ng ating dinadanas ngayon na pandemya, andito pa rin tayo sa kaligtasan ng ating mga tahanan, and we are having this virtual webinar. So once again, we are in Kamalayan Progressive Webinar Series 3 with the theme Preparing Oneself and Embracing the New Normal. At syempre, ang ating gawain na to will not be complete without, of course, first and foremost, your presence. Ang bawat isa sa atin dito ay patuloy na gumagalaw at nagsisikap na maglingkod sa bawat isa, lalong-lala na sa ating mga partners, specifically ng ating mga estudyante. So from here, we would like to acknowledge, of course, everyone. Ayan, sa dami po natin ngayon, not only dito sa virtual room, kung hindi sa ating mga social media account. But then again, allow me to at least run down, of course, our participants from Region 1 down to, of course, the host region, NCR. Yan po. So we would like to acknowledge the presence of our students, our HEIs from Region 1, headed by its Regional Director, Dr. Rogelio T. Galera Jr. Palakpakan naman dyan. Ayan. And of course, from Region 2, our students there and our schools headed by the Regional Director, Dr. Julieta D. Paras. Yan. Of course, from Region 3, we have its Regional Director, Dr. Maria Teresita M. Simana, and the participants as well as the schools. Ayan, in Region 3. Region 4, headed by Dr. Amelia Biglete, our students and HEIs. Palakpakan naman po tayo dyan, mga taga-Region 4. And Region 5, headed by our Regional Director, Attorney Joselito Aliswag. Ayan, paramdam tayo, mga taga-Mimaropa. Okay. From Region 6, headed by our Regional Director, Dr. Mauro Consolacion Cristobal. Kumusta po tayo dyan? Good morning. Ayan. From Region 7, ang ating mga schools at ang ating mga student participants, headed by its Regional Director, Dr. Maximo Alquibe. Good morning. From Region 8, headed by our Regional Director, Dr. George Colorado III. Kumusta po tayo dyan? From Region 9, headed by Dr. Roddy P. Garcia, our students and our school participants. Good morning. From Region 10, headed by our Regional Director, Dr. Raul Alvarez. Kumusta po tayo dyan? Ating mga students and ating mga schools. From Region 11, headed by our Regional Director, Dr. Maricar Casquejo. Magandang umaga, our students and our school participants. And from Region 12, headed by our Regional Director, Dr. Nelia Alibin. Yan. Magandang umaga po. And from Cordillera Administrative Region, headed by our Regional Director, Dr. Demetrio P. Anduyan. From Caraga, our students and other participants, headed by our Regional Director, Dr. Leonida S. Calagi. Good morning. And of course, the host region for today's event, the National Capital Region, headed by our beloved Regional Director, Dr. Virginia D. Akyate. Good morning, ma'am. She's in the room. Our director is in the house, of course. Ayan, at sa lahat po ng, of course, nanonood, not only from the NCR, from other regions, and from outside of the country, once again, good morning. A blessed morning to everyone. So from here, of course, our event will not be complete without hearing from our Regional Director, Dr. Virginia D. Akyate, for her welcome remarks. Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Mom.
Opo, ma'am.
Yes po.
Yes po.
Ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Our
Good morning
dynamic.
po.
Good morning po.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning po.
Hello. So, our dynamic and loving students from all over the country, our friends countrywide, and our colleagues from the Commission on Higher Education, officials from the different higher education institutions. Naimbag nga agsapa tayo amin. Maayong buntag sa inyo tanan. Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Good morning, everyone. To start my welcome, I would like everybody's participation. So we start with a community singing. This is the day that the Lord has made. So please, everybody join me in singing this song. This is the day.
This is the day that the Lord has made. Rejoice, we will rejoice and be glad in it.
And
this is the
glad
day
in
that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and
we will
rejoice
and be glad
in
in
it.
it. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord
Has made.
Indeed, my dear friends, this is the day that the Lord has made. I'm happy to have you here, even if our connectivity are not really doing well. But let's live with that. No? Welcome to the CHED's hashtag Kamalayan Progressive Webinar Series. This hashtag Kamalayan is a month-long activity with 16 webinars that will focus on preparing our students.
Nakamute po. Nakamute po.
Nag-mute po.
Sorry. Okay. Okay na? Can you hear me?
Opo,
Yes
ma'am.
po.
Okay, once again, welcome to the Commission's hashtag Kamalayan Progressive Webinar Series. This hashtag Kamalayan is a month-long activity with 16 webinars that will focus on preparing our students for the gradual reopening of campuses of higher education institutions through limited face-to-face classes. Okay? So this webinar series is actually part of the joint initiative of the Commission on Higher Education and the Department of Health through its Joint Memorandum Circular 2021-001 regarding the guidelines on the gradual reopening of campuses of higher education institutions for limited face-to-face classes during this COVID-19 pandemic. At the start of this pandemic, we were really caught unprepared. Some schools need to end their semester early because online class was a big challenge to everyone. We have changed our school calendars and our mode of learning from the traditional face-to-face to flexible learning. Our classrooms are no longer found in the four sides of our schools, but in the four sides of our gadgets. With the rising number of cases of getting positive with this COVID-19, we are prevented even to go out of our homes. So some are working from home, some have to stay home, especially those with comorbidities and the seniors and those below of age. Last year, these numbers are just numbers being reported in the news. Now these numbers have names of which you knew them, no? Maybe a friend, a neighbor, or even a family member. However, vaccines are now available, and with this, we hope that we will be able to go back to our normal lives. But due to some limitations, this might take some time. Hence, we need to adapt with a situation and the safest possible way. This pandemic should not stop our students from achieving their dreams and pursue their chosen careers and become productive citizens of the country. So in support to the national initiatives in relation with a safe and gradual reopening of campuses for limited face-to-face classes, the Commission on Higher Education, regional offices, arranged the conduct of this progressive webinar series to help students prepare and cope with a new normal of learning. So my friends, we are now on the third part of this seminar or webinar series focusing on the Ka of the Kamalayan. This is kalusugan ng estudyante, kaligtasan nating lahat, or students' health and wellness, with topics related to preparing the students for going back to school, psychologically and emotionally. Yesterday, we had two webinars hosted by CHED Region 1, Pakikipagkapwa at Katatagan, a closer look on emotional quotient and adversity quotient, and Region 3 on mind, body, and soul in the new normal. This morning, the CHED National Capital Region is hosting this third webinar with a theme, Mind Matters, preparing oneself, embracing the new normal. We have two distinguished speakers today or this morning. One is a multi-awarded psychologist and the other is a student leader. They are not only well-known in their field of studies, but also in their endeavors as influencers and motivators. Later, they will be well introduced. So with our distinguished speakers, we hope that this webinar series will help you gain confidence in embracing the new normal. Again, welcome, and may this webinar be a fruitful one to everybody. Thank you. God bless. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Keep safe. Be happy. Let us now have this day as a day of blessings. Salamat sa inyong pagdalo sa ating webinar today. Thank you.
Yeah. A warm round of applause for our NCR Regional Director, the mother of NCR, Dr. Virginia D. Akyate. Thank you very much, ma'am. Indeed, despite of whatever is happening now, kailangan pa rin nating mag-ingat, kailangan sumunod, wag basta-basta lalabas as we are, especially in the metro, tayo ay naka-ECQ pa din, your participation not only in our webinar today, pati na rin sa pag-iingat natin sa ating sarili will really go a long way. Ayan. So once again, tayo po ay nasa Kamalayan Progressive Webinar Series 3 with the theme Mind Matters, Preparing Oneself, Embracing the New Normal. Yung hindi pa po nakakalagin o yung kakalagin pa lamang, we are here now and we are about to proceed, of course, with our web meeting protocol, our etiquette, at ito po ay ibibigay sa atin, walang iba kundi ng isa sa ating mga education supervisor in the National Capital Region. Walang iba kung hindi si Miss Edita A. Paragas. Take it away, Ma'am Edith.
Good morning to all.
Good morning po.
Good morning po.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning po. Good morning po.
Here are some things to remember of and follow while attending this third leg of the webinar series 3. One is that before the meeting, you make sure that you dress up properly. Second, control your video and audio quality. Third, adjust your lighting. Fourth, think about your background. Fifth, participate in speaking to camera and not the screen. Six, optimize Zoom. And during the meeting, make sure to mute your microphone when necessary. Use Zoom chat functions. Think about your actions on the camera. Thank you and God bless.
Ayan. Thank you very much, Ma'am Edith. So medyo matagal-tagal na rin tayo na nag-online webinars like this, di ba? Ayan, so more or less, these are just simple things that will be automatic or should be automatic along the way. Ayan. But then again, of course, iba pa rin yung tayo ay pinapaalalahanan about those things. So thank you once again, Ma'am Edith. So from here, we shall be introduced. Ano ba talaga ang ating Kamalayan Webinar Series 3 na ito, na Mind Matters, Preparing Oneself and Embracing the New Normal. And that will be shared to us no less than by our Supervising Education Program Specialist, Ma'am Liza Libertine Magana. Ma'am, please.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning po, ma'am.
Morning po. Good morning, ma'am.
I hope you're all well this morning. So, as mentioned by our dear director, Kamalayan Progressive Webinar Series is a month-long nationwide activity hosted by the 16 regional offices of the country. We are covering topics that will prepare the students of our higher education institutions to cope with the new normal of learning and for the gradual reopening of campuses through the limited face-to-face classes. So this third webinar with the theme Mind Matters, Preparing Oneself, Embracing the New Normal is actually part of the week 1 of the webinar series that focuses on the Ka of Kamalayan, which means Kalusugan ng Estudyante, Kaligtasan nating lahat, students' health and wellness. So topics with this week are related to preparing the students psychologically and emotionally as a person in going back to the institutions. So specifically for this webinar 3, we aim to provide students with a fundamental understanding of psychological well-being, to capacitate them in identifying and manifesting specific management and strategies that are necessary in overcoming their day-to-day struggles with the new normal while they prepare themselves for the gradual reopening of campuses through the limited face-to-face classes. And lastly, they may be able to acquire insights on the experiences of people in surviving and adapting to the changes and the changes that comes with the pandemic as they embrace the new normal. As the host region of this webinar 3, we hope that all of these objectives will be met through the talks and sharings of our speakers this morning. This afternoon, there will also be another webinar. The CHED Regional Office 2 will be hosting the webinar with the team, getting ready for the limited face-to-face classes, Balik Eskwela na, Paano na kaya? So you may also attend later this afternoon this webinar and all the succeeding webinars that we are hosting. We shall be posting the schedule of these webinars in our chat box later for your reference. So we hope that all your learnings in this webinar series will be applied in your daily lives. So thank you and good morning.
Ayan, thank you very much. Our dear Ma'am Liza Libertine Magana, our Supervised Education Program Specialist for National Capital Region. Ayan. So from here, we will be having the first installment of our very important talk. Ayan. Para dun sa mga kalalagin pa lang, once again, you are at the Kamalayan Webinar Series 3 with the theme Mind Matters, preparing oneself, embracing the new normal. And from here, we shall be doing the introduction of our first resource person, to be done no less than by our Dr. Annalyn P. Diaz, Education Supervisor 2 of CHED NCR. Doc D.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, students.
Good morning
So
din po,
Good morning po, ma'am. Okay, I am privileged to introduce our resource person this morning. So Dr. Sheila Marie Guevara Hoxon, Dr. Sheikh as she is fondly called, was a former president of Philippine Guidance and Counseling Association, which is the premier and PRC accredited and integrated professional organization for counselors in the country. She was also the former branch leader for the American Counseling Association. Moreover, she is a PRC CPD Council, Guidance Director, Accreditor, Human Resource Practitioner, Consultant, Author, Curriculum Developer, Educator, Trainer, Researcher, Radio Host, and staunch advocate for anti-bullying, career development, mental health, family, marriage, life, and child protection. Currently, she's the Guidance Director of FEU Manila and Makati branches that oversees the management of the different programs and services of the FEU Guidance and Counseling Office. As a consultant and educator, she's currently the consultant of ChildFam, Possibilities, Psychological Solutions, Rex Publication, Project Inclusion, and Unilab Foundation. She also authored the My Career Journey book series for students and teachers at the Rex Publication, No to Bullying Handbook under Pedia Pharma Foundation, Remote Play Psychosocial Support, Playbook, and Resilience Toolkit for DepEd and Unilab Foundation. Moreover, she's a research peer review for Elsevier and Routledge. She's also a radio host at the ABS-CBN DZMM teleradio show Wonder Teacher every Saturday at 4 to 5 p.m. Dr. Hoxon earned a certificate course on globalization of school psychology at the University of Nebraska-Kearney, USA, a certificate course on clinical and counseling supervision by the Australian Counseling Association and Optimize Potential Australia, cognitive behavior therapy course at the Beck Institute, Philadelphia, USA. She also earned all her degrees, PhD in guidance counseling, MA in clinical psychology, BS psychology, magna cum laude and cum laude in USD. She earned her 12 units of special education at St. Joseph's Graduate School. She's also a registered guidance counselor, registered teacher, registered psychologist, registered psychometrician, certified counseling psychologist, certified assessment psychologist, and certified clinical and counseling supervisor by the Australian Counseling Association. Some of her achievements are making PGCA win the American Counseling Association branch Best Innovative Practice Award last April 2018, being the most outstanding alumni awardee for UST Professional Achievement in Guidance and Counseling last February 2018, most outstanding UST Graduate School alumni for Psychology and Guidance Counseling Practice, most outstanding faculty club member of UST Guidance and Counseling Department on school year 2008 to 2009 during the Tanglao Awards, and having FEU GNC won the PGCA's Best Guidance Program and Services in the country last May 2011. Likewise, she is also a recipient of various grants and scholarships. She is also the founder of the Peer Organization of the Philippines, co-founder of the Bayanihan for Wellbeing, part of the leadership team, program head for the DOH NCMH Wellness Program, and mental health advocacy for the youth in the country, former auditor of UST Graduate School alumni and student leader. Our dear partners, let us all put our hands together for Dr. Sheila Marie Sheikh Guevara Hoxon.
Hi.
Good morning.
Yeah, so a pleasant morning. Thank you so much, Dr. Annalyn Diaz po, for the warm introduction.
Welcome, ma'am.
Maraming salamat po for inviting us over together with Russell. Of course, good morning din po to our CHED Director for Dr. Virginia Akyate. Of course, to Sir Nestor Tadena, maraming salamat din po. To all our CHED heads, of course, all our dear students, and of course, co-advocates for well-being. A pleasant morning. It is with absolute honor and pleasure to serve our dear heads and students of the Commission on Higher Education. So are you ready for this great activity that we have in store for you? This is entitled Kamalayan Progressive Webinar Series, Mind Matters, Preparing Oneself, and of course, Embracing the New Normal. So ready na? Yeah, ready na daw, no, si Jinky. So I would like this activity to be a very interactive one. So we are encouraging everyone to actively participate. And I can see a lot of familiar faces and of course friends also, no? Co-advocates. So thank you to Dr. Distor. I saw him earlier, no, from PUP. Maraming salamat. Yeah. Can you already see my slide?
Yes po, ma'am.
Ayan, okay.
Yes
So
po.
a pleasant morning again, and you can just call me Sheikh Hoxon. And our topic, it's all about preparing ourselves to become what you call adjusting in the new normal for it to be a flourishing new normal. And for this morning, I'm encouraging everyone to actively participate either through Zoom or our FB live. And of course, our hashtag for this morning, it's all about mind matters or well-being. And before I start, I would like to have an agreement with you po, no? That I do hope that you focus on the following. And what we will be using is what we call the strengths-based approach by positive psychology of Dr. Martin Seligman. So number one, that in order for us to focus, no? And of course, not to be maladjusted and prevent a lot of mental health concerns in these times of new normal, I do hope that we focus on our strength of well-being. And when you talk about strength of well-being, it is not just physical, but it is also mental, affective, and of course, including our spiritual, our life, and of course, our digital well-being. Number two, I do hope that you focus on our family, our loved ones, and our friends' strengths. No? So, we have a lot of people. Marami pong nagmamahal sa atin. No? I hope that we can also focus on our school, our respective school. And nakita ko po na napakarami po ngayon na nag-participate from different regions, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And I do that we can also focus on our organization, of course, the Commission on Higher Education, our different church, and of course, our community, and of course, our country. And I do hope that we can nourish our strengths. Alam niyo po ba kung ano ang inyong lakas? Everything starts from what you call our growing, no, and healthy thoughts that can become our what? Our belief system. And it can become our growing mindset. It can become what you call a better feeling, a better behavior, and a better character strength. No? And I do hope we are grateful for all this gift of strengths. And our objectives for this morning is I do hope na makita po natin na napakarami po nating lakas. And I do hope that we can also nourish and of course cultivate and value our strengths for well-being. And sabi po ng isang credit to the owner quote that your strengths rooted from your thoughts can provide you your well-being to find your inner motivation, your purpose, and of course, your meaning. Yeah? And sabi po ng isang aking idol, no, who is one of the best-selling authors in New York, and ito po si Pam Grau 2020, that whatever you focus on expands. So pag nag-focus po tayo sa problema, mas lalo po tayong maging problematic. That's why we have to go for our inner strengths. No? At ito ay mas sustainable and mas preventive. And this is our situation now. No? At ang situation po natin is what we call the age of disruption. From the traditional learning, ngayon po we were all coerced to go for online virtual meetings at minsan nagiging kuba na tayo sa dami po ng ating mga classroom engagements. And of course, ang dami po nating ginagawa, no? Wherein everything is virtual like this, no? But I do hope that you focus not on the weakness of it, but I do hope that you focus on the silver lining na mas marami po tayo nakikilala at mas marami tayong natututunan. And we get to save our energy. Okay? And of course, ito naman po ang ating global overview, Digital 2021, or what you call the Hootsuite study. At alam niyo po ba that in the digital around the world, mas marami po ang nag-venture into the use of technology. No? At isa na ho dito, ang pinaka-rampant is of course the accessible social media, our internet, and of course our mobile phone. Kasi ito yung pinaka-practical. At alam niyo po ba that the Filipinos, no, sabi po sa pag-aaral, remain, no, for 6 straight years as the most active in the internet. Kasi nga po, ang mga Filipino ay very sociable. And because of that, ito na po yung mga access natin na nagbigay ng ating landscape, no? Ito ay nagkaroon ng means for coping mechanism, but of course, meron din po itong mga weaknesses. Kaya mamaya po tutulungan namin kayo, no, to prevent some psychological distress para po manage natin ating new norm. Of course, very important po, no, in this our way to the 5th industrial revolution. It is very important that in the 4th industrial revolution, that we have what we call the artificial intelligence, the big data, ang ating pong blockchain at crypto. And of course, I do hope that in the 5th industrial revolution, sana po hindi tayo ma-confuse as a student and as a Gen Z. No? Sana makita natin ang ating connection and purpose why we are in this globalized and tech-based world. And of course, this is what we call the new VUCA. At po ang ating sitwasyon before go to our interactive activity, na nakita po natin na naging fragile tayo in this VUCA world. And when you talk about VUCA, V stands for volatility, na napakabilis po ng pangyayari. U stands for uncertainty, complexity, no? Very complex po. And I do hope na sana po hindi po tayo magkaroon ng lockdown into breakdown kasi ito po yung nakakatakot. Kaya we collaborated with for this for us to go for preventive approaches. And I do hope that we can also go for what you call from ambiguity, na po hindi malabo, but I do hope that we can flexibility. Okay? And sana po, no, sa panahon na ito, I do hope that from fragile, I do hope that we can be agile. No? And magtatawag po ako ng aking co-advocate ngayon, si Russell. No? Russell, can I call you? Hi, Russell.
Hi, ma'am.
Diyan na po ba siya? Hi. So, are you here with me?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Apo.
Yeah. So,
Good morning
pakilala
po.
ka, yeah, so mamaya po, no, i-introduce po properly si Russell. But Russell is one of our student leaders in FEU Manila. And siya po ay ang aming former PGCA peer organization of the Philippines President National. And ngayon na ito because volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, no? Ano kaya ang nakikita mong vision as a student leader that vision na ito, sana ma-inspire natin ang ating mga hosts to have the understanding, clarity kung ano ang purpose natin, no, in this middle of difficulty. And I do hope that we can be flexible, we can have the speed, no, and sana hindi tayo puro running, no, but we are more proactive in order for us to continue our education and of course, no, overcome all these challenges. So ano kaya ang nakita mong vision, Russell, in these times of pandemic? Anong naging role mo as a student leader and peer facilitator ng ating FEU Manila?
Ayan. Well, actually, ma'am, sabi ko nga, etong pandemic na to talagang mahirap, hindi lang naman para sa mga students, but talagang para sa ating lahat, no? But actually, when the pandemic started and everything talaga has been disrupted mo, dahil sabi niyo nga po nasa isang disruptive, we experienced disruptive changes, no? Nung una, parang hindi ako, I couldn't even move. But after a few weeks, I was able to get back up and then I realized that I have something to do and that virus or the pandemic should never block my purpose in life. And ngayon as a peer counselor and as a student leader, I'm doing again my life's purpose. It's about sharing my life story and also about doing something good in my community by volunteering in NGOs and also participating in online campaigns. And I think right now, alam ko mahirap para sa ating lahat. Medyo matagal pa yung pandemya maka-recover, hindi lang yung Pilipinas kundi yung buong mundo. But I hope that we can still be reminded of our purpose. And I think that's the very first thing that we must do, to be reminded that we have a purpose in our community, in our society, in our family, in our friends. Because I think from there, ma'am, we can start knowing what to do next.
Yeah, no? So very important, Russell, that we have to really know our purpose, no? So nung una, lahat tayo ay nag-shatter, nag-gel tayo, no? Pero dahil ginamit mo yung maganda mong pag-iisip, nagkaroon ka ng iyong purpose at direction, at isa ito sa mga ginagawa po namin ni Russell, no? That nung una, hirap na hirap din po kami mag-webinar at hindi kami marunong mag-adjust, no? Dahil napakarami po talaga mga adjustments, no, voice being advocacy. At lagi ko pong sinasama si Russell, no, sa akin po mga advocacy talk. Sana I do hope na makapag-touch po kami. And of course, at the end of this activity, I do hope po na hindi lang po tayo matuto at magkaroon ng skills. But I do hope that we can also transform you to become what you call a well-being advocate. So thank you so much, Russell. Tatuagin kita ulit, ha? Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
And yeah, Ma'am Annalyn, if we can also request all our participants, ilagay din po nila sa chat box nila, no? sa ating FB or sa ating pong Zoom ngayon, ano po kaya yung vision na nakikita nila, no? To serve our country in our little way, great exam, specific active university. So para po makita natin kung ano po ang vision. Ako ang nakita kong vision ngayon is really, no, become really stronger, no, sa ating pong magiging advocacy. Kasi po natin na marami talaga nangangailangan ating boses at ng ating puso, no, para po makatulong sa kapwa natin mga estudyante, and of course co-advocate para magkaroon po ng adjustments in this new normal. For it to be fragile, from fragile, I do hope that we can have what we call the agility, the flexibility, no? The speed to respond and the accountability, lalo na po hindi lang para sa ating sarili, kundi para sa ating estudyante. Dr. Annalyn, meron po bang mga sumasagot? Sorry po that I cannot see the chat because I'm in a PowerPoint presentation.
Yes po, ma'am. We will help you po with that.
Ayan, mukhang mahihain yung ating mga estudyante. So sana po is nakita niyo po ang vision ni Russell at talaga pong tinulungan niya yung sarili niya na makapag-focus sa pag-aaral, and at the same time on the side, siya po ay nagvo-volunteer sa aming as peer facilitator, at siya din po ay kasama sa isang organisasyon na kanyang ginawa, ang 1PH, to volunteer, no, for food distribution and helping the poor din po sa iba't ibang hospital. Ayan, so mahihain pa sila. Sige po, hintayin lang po natin.
Medyo mabilis po yung but I will read some po.
Sige po.
Medyo mabilis po, pero from Jinky Tomas, to continue motivating kids to strive for their academic goal amidst pandemic, I do offer tutorials in order to encourage kids to learn.
So paano po natin mas may encourage, 'di ba? Importante po that we have to be a great example even in our little way, no? So kung tayo po ay hindi inspiring, hindi enabling, no? Our posting are more into stresses, hindi po tayo makaka-enable and makaka-inspire ng ating kapwa estudyante. Sige, ma'am. Opo.
Sorry po, medyo mabilis talaga yung
Ayan, nakakatuwa. Ang dami na po, no? So it's more on self-development, Natulungan po natin ang ating sarili to develop,
To serve
promoting
resilience. From Gisela Miralo. So, from Liza Rata, my vision is to see more students to be empowered to lead even in the midst of pandemic, that they will see beyond the difficulty but see the possibilities.
See the possibilities rather than the negativities and stress, no? Maganda po yan, no?
From Ariel Pauline, to promote resiliency towards students and youth leaders like me. From Carlos Martin, to not give up on goals despite of pandemic.
So push lang po tayo.
From Shalene Jimenez, prayer, strength, and be positive po at all times. From Carlos Martin Cruz, to empower those who are already stressed out and give them courage to face their fears and problems. From Vioran Puertolano, self-development but not self-dependent. From Erica Alvarez, to strive harder in achieving goals and to empower ourselves and other people. Medyo bilis. From Carlos Martin, to keep the faith in God and never stop praying. Sorry, yung iba po hindi ko mabasa.
Thank you, Dr. Annalyn, no? Pero nakikita po natin is, alam niyo yun, napaka-positive ng mga participants po natin at nakakahawa sila, no? And isa sa kanilang mga strength is definitely their growing thoughts. Of course, ang kanilang bukas na pag-iisip, perspective. And of course, marami rin po talaga tayo mga spiritual dito. So all of this are what we call our strengths. Sabi dito, keep praying, sabi ni Shireen, and be positive in everything. Very good. Yan po ang ating ituturo ngayon sa ating activity, no? na mas ma-retain po natin ang ating positivity so that we can prevent more stresses. Yan. At ito po yung mga stresses na nakakaharap natin ngayon, no? Ito mga decrease in non-verbal stimuli, napakarami pong mga distractions, no? Tendency to be unproductive, or yung iba naman hindi na natutulog, no? Negative thoughts about the self, minsan feeling natin unproductive tayo, or feeling natin we are unlovable kasi hindi na like ang ating mga Instagram at Snapchat, or somewhat we have worries with our family. Lalo na po ngayon, ang dami ko talagang counseling sa university kasi ang dami ng nahawang mga family members. Talaga pong ito ay napaka-stressful. Of course, marami rin po yung mga unforgiveness ng kabataan, mga excess baggages and unfinished business, pwedeng sa love life, pwedeng sa pamilya, no? And of course, the feelings of being watched by their parents and loved ones na hindi po sila sanay dati. Okay? And because of that, napakarami rin po na fatigue because of our online meetings. And of course, minsan po yung ating online education, minsan wala na ring gap, no? And because of that, sa pag-aaral po ni BAR 2017, ito po yung mga nagkaroon ng mga emotional distress. Ayan. Yun po na. Ayan. So because of this becoming an online student now, syempre po, tao lang po tayo, di ba? At may mga times na nagkakaroon po tayo ng mga distress. So kayo po ay nagkakaroon ng mga ganitong atypical behavior, yung bigla pong nagbago ang inyong pag-uugali. Like naging irritable po tayo, some deterioration po sa quality ng ating work, medyo nalilate po tayo lagi na dati on time tayo ng traditional class. Of course, may mga emails po na kakaiba yung ating mga kaklase at kaibigan. Sexually inappropriate, medyo fantastical and bizarre, and of course, confused. Lagi po natin tatandaan to be aware of this. And of course, para malaman po natin, baka ito po yung ating mga red flags. And because of that, isa rin po sa nagiging negative signal ay ang tinatawag na oversharing, no? Ano po kaya yung ibig sabihin ng oversharing? Papamute lang po tayo, ha? Oo. Paki-check na lang po yung microphone nyo. Baka po, yeah. Yan. And isa ho sa ating red flag ay ang tinatawag na oversharing, no? Ano po ito? Ito po yung nagpo-post tayo, no? Nang kahit hindi naman importante na posting. A lot of check-ins, no? Of course, meron din tayong mga kaklase. Mute ko na lang po. Tuloy ang ating smooth na presentation. Yeah, meron din po tayong mga ibang mga kaklase or kaibigan, no? Posting nude or embarrassing videos. And of course, yung pagbe-vent out ng ating every emotion sa ating social media. Yan po ang tinatawag ni Jones 2020 na oversharing or ang tinatawag na sad fishing. No? So ito po yung pag-share natin ng ating mga unhappiness. And of course, ito rin yung pag-attract ng attention or sympathy sa mga tao. So lagi po nating tatandaan, pag meron po tayong mga ganitong signal, or ang inyong mga kaklase, ito po ay hindi magandang senyales. At yan po ay tinatawag na sad fishing. Kasi po lagi natin tatandaan that when we post, no, ibig sabihin ang ating mga FB pages, ang ating mga Snapchat ay Instagram, ay ating pong wall. Pero ang ating karapatan to post anything is not absolute. Kasi ito po ay nakakahawa, no? At pwede itong magkaroon trigger for emotional contagion. No? Ito po yung mga risks na yan that we have to watch out. Okay? So pag tayo po ay too much oversharing, napakarami po nating selfie, at minsan hindi natin kung nakaka-stress ang ating mga posts, ito po ay senyales na meron din po tayong senyales of loss of reality. Minsan hindi na tayo natutulog. There are also tendencies for anxiety, loneliness, depression, isolation, and of course, tendency for addiction. Kaya we have to watch out for that. No? Okay? So tingnan po natin and be aware kung tayo po ba ay nagpo-post ng maganda or tayo po ba ay nagpo-post ng destructive posting that can create negative environment, kaya dumadami po ang ating mga mental concerns. And because of that, no, kanina po nakita natin na napakaganda ng ating mga vision. And I do hope, no, in our little way, pwede po natin ma-prevent ang ating mga stresses at ang ating mga burnout. Ibig sabihin lang po nito is if you can post an inspiring, an enabling, and a good influence post or any picture that is inspiring, especially for your continuous education, can be a big help and can be the strength of other people. It can also be a source of resilience. And of course, pag tayo po ay nagkakaproblema, ito po yung tinatawag right attachment to significant people in your lives. No? So hindi naman dapat lahat ng tao sa mundo or lahat ng ating social media accounts ay alam ang ating problema. But it's more on the people that you trust. The first line of defense that you have can be your loved ones. Your second line of defense can be your teachers, your advisors, and your counselors. And maybe the third line of defense can be your peer facilitators, no? Can be your true friends who are there through thick and thin. So that is part of the mental health continuum, that the small stresses, online and offline, can lead to some burnout, distress, no? Kasama pa dyan yung ating mga lack of meaning in life that can lead to some mental health concerns. Kaya very important po that we are into prevention. Okay? So tingnan po natin, pag meron po tayong mga symptoms na ganito, 5 plus symptoms over 2 weeks of this, ibig sabihin po, ano po ang tendency natin? Po ay tinawag na depression. No? So ang depression po ay hindi po pagiging lungkot oras. Ito po ay naranasan 5 or more of this consistently every day for 2 weeks. Ito po ay tinatawag na depression. At isa po dyan, pag hindi po tayo natutulog ng normal. No? Kaya very important po na matulog po tayo 6-8 hours to prevent some concerns and other signals that I have told you that affects ang ating pong behavior, ang ating feelings, ang ating pong katawan, and of course, ang ating mind as well. And ito naman po yung tinatawag na pag nagkaroon tayo ng mga anxiety, pag tayo po ay nag-over-worry, no? Pag tayo po ay worry, hindi po tayo makakatulog at magkakaroon tayo ng impaired concentration. No? So pag tatlo po nito or mahigit at nararasan nyo naman ito for 6 months, wag na po nating hintayin, no, na ito ay lumala. Okay? Kasi ito ay magli-lead ng some tendency for generalized anxiety disorder. Kaya po pag wala po tayong dahil hindi nag-work ang ating coping mechanism, it is very important that you talk it out to someone that you trust. And pag hindi pa rin po, very important po that you already go to your expert psychologist and of course your guidance counselors in your respective school. Okay? So naiintindihan po natin, ha? Okay? So very important din po, no, that with all of the symptoms, okay, importante po na hanapin natin ang ating lakas, no? At ang ating lakas ay ang tinatawag na psychological well-being, no? At ang ating pong psychological well-being ay hindi lang po mental, hindi lang po ito physical, hindi lang po ito relationship, pero kasama po dito ang ating tinatawag na digital well-being and digital citizenship. Ito po yung hawak ng ating privacy and security. Okay? Very important po. Tech literacy para hindi po tayo maiwan sa panahon. And of course, very important po yung pagkakaroon din natin ng safe and civil and mindful interaction online and offline. Okay? So tatandaan po natin yan, ha. Hindi lang pagandang pag-iisip, kundi very important ito rin po ay pagkakaroon ng magandang puso, galaw, or gandang digital well-being. Okay? So, Dr. Annalyn, magtatanong lang po ulit tayo, no? So, tanungin nga po natin ang ating mga estudyante. Ano naman po kaya ang number one strength or symbol na ginamit nila in these challenging times? Susulat po nila sa chat and magtatawag po tayo. Ayan, so it can be a bicep, no? It can be a heart. It can be your healthy mind, no? And tawagin ko muna ulit si Russell bago habang nagko-collect pa tayo ng mga information.
Hi, ma'am.
Sel, hello? Yeah,
Hello po.
oo. Yeah, Sel, oo. So, tatanong ko lang, anak, if you don't mind, ano kaya ang number one symbol of strength na ginamit mo in these times of pandemic?
Well, to be honest, ma'am, since nga di ba po ng pandemic, talagang kaming mga peer counselors po sa university, sa ating university po, kami na po yung unang nagtulungan sa isa't isa, no? And hindi na po ako lalayo. Siguro yung naging symbol of hope talaga namin. Ever since then naman po is yung tinatawag nating lighthouse, no? Talagang whenever I have Yes, I have a lighthouse talaga from peer na meron po ako dito sa study table ko actually. Nakalagay lang siya doon. And sometimes I would light it up, no? Because I think for me, syempre yung lighthouse naman, alam natin, it's like a beacon light na nagsisilbing guide ng mga, di ba po, ng mga mangingisda natin, ng mga nasa karagatan, lalo na kapag malakas yung alon, medyo mapanganib, no? Difficult talaga sa kanila na to pass through. So parang it's a guiding light. And I think kapag nakikita ng mga mangingisda natin, ng mga taong mga nasa dagat yung lighthouse, no, parang it serves po, it represents hope and safe haven kasi parang nakikita nila yung light mo at top of that lighthouse, ma'am. And parang sa kanila it's a symbol of hope kasi it's very powerful. Yes, ma'am.
Very good, Russell, no? Yeah, one of the symbol that I also like when I went to, we are very blessed to go to Batanes last 2019, no? Ay ito pong lighthouse kasi ito po ay nagbibigay ng pag-asa, lalo na po in these difficult times. Thank you, Russell. Maraming salamat, no? Yeah, na hindi tayo nawawalan ng pag-asa, no? Dahil lagi naman talaga may hope. And of course, there are a lot of well-being outcomes if you go for hope, no, through the lighthouse. Yeah. So Dr. Annalyn, nating sagot ating mga participants kung ano po yung mga symbol of kanilang strength.
Marami po. They are so active rosary and Bible, prayers, most of them prayers, mindset and prayers, faith in God, love and trust from the family and friends, prayer, dami po eh. Friends.
Friends can also be your number one symbol of strength.
Yeah, faith in God, heart, compassion and mercy, my strength is my goal, motivation in every aspect of life. Again, prayer and determination despite all the sacrifices we have nowadays. And my strength in these challenging times, number one is God. Keep praying for everything. Number two is my family. And number three, my dreams. Prayers and family in this time of pandemic. Yan. My daughter, positive mindset.
Oh, meron. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Annalyn, no?
Yeah,
sa napakarami po nating lakas kung ito lang ay talagang ating hahanapin, no? And one of those are what we call ang ating pamilya, ang ating loved ones. Of course, the Filipinos are very spiritual and faithful, no? And sa ating pong formula ng Gallup Strength, no? Ito po yung tinatawag na talent and you multiply it by investment. So ano po ba itong talent na ito para magkaroon tayo ng strength? This is what they call a natural way of thinking, feeling, and behaving. No? At para po magkaroon po tayo ng mas magandang pag-iisip, puso at galaw, very important po na mag-practice po tayo ng magandang pag-iisip. No? At pag pinractice natin to ng ipinractice, magkakaroon po tayo ng development of our knowledge, our skills, and our values. At pagkatapos po niyan, ito po ay ang ating magiging superpower or ang tinatawag na ating lakas para mas ma-master po natin ang pag-manage ng buhay, lalo na po in this times of pandemic. Okay? Anong masasabi niyo dito, Dr. Annalyn? Itong talent and you multiply it by investment. And of course, pag talagang pinaghirapan natin, di ba? Ito po ay ating mamamaster at hindi na po tayo makakaroon adjustment. Ha? Hello, Dr. Annalyn? Hi. Hello, Dr. Annalyn. Narinig niyo po ako?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Kanina po, I cannot unmute eh. Nakamute po talaga.
Ay,
Opo, sorry po, Dr. Hoxon.
Yeah, no problem po, Ma'am
Opo.
Annalyn.
Number one, I believe the students know God is number one because He's the one, He's the source of our talents, any gifts, any intelligence that we do have, wisdom would come from the Lord lang. So that is the first and foremost na I do believe, yung mga students natin. And prayers, of course. So yun lang po.
Yeah, very good. No? So, thank you, Ma'am Annalyn. No? So, lagi po natin tatandaan ang ating lakas is of course coming from God. No? At yan po yung tinatawag na our number one strength is definitely God, our family, and of course our school and our loved ones. No? And of course, pag nagkaroon po kayo ng magandang pag-iisip, puso at galaw, ito po ay magbibigay sa inyo ng tinatawag na strengths-based approach. That is what we call coming from individual. And after that, pag na-nourish po natin yan, hingi rin po tayo ng lakas sa ating environment. No? So pag nagkaroon tayo ng magandang isip, puso at galaw, magkakaroon po tayo ng better personal qualities. And after that, ito pong magbibigay sa atin ng maraming abilities, talents, and skills para po ma-prevent na ng mga mental health concerns in this pandemic and for us to flourish and adjust. At ito rin po ay magbibigay sa atin ng interest and aspiration. Pagkatapos niyan, tambalan po natin ng environmental strength, our God, our prayers, our loved ones, our school. At pagkatapos niyan, ipag-combine po natin itong ating lakas. And this will give us a better quality of life, an integration of power, and of course, makaka-accomplish po tayo in these times of pandemic. Okay? And paano po natin manonorish yan? Tingnan natin, ha? Sige po. Magkakaroon po tayong isang activity. Tatawagin ko na lang po ulit. Meron po ba participant na estudyante? Dr. Annalyn, meron ba tayong any volunteer na pwede natin kausapin?
We look for one. Students. Meron po ba? We are so active sa chat box. Just message us. Sino po ang ating volunteer?
Yeah, so that after this we can have a raffle for the testimony. Yeah, Sir Nestor, meron ba tayong volunteer na pwede natin tawagin?
Yes,
Or volunteer?
May nakikita ko dito, nag-raise ng hand, Doc Shay. By the name of Aljon Revilla.
Ayan, Aljon.
You on, please.
Hindi kaya tiga Cavite ito, Revilla? Hi, Aljon.
Yes po.
Okay.
Hi, dear. Nice to
Yes
meet
po.
you. Yeah, anong school mo?
Caraga School of Business po. From Bayugan, Caraga region po.
Wow, that's good. And if you don't mind, nag-enjoy ka ba sa activity natin ngayon?
Yes po, because I have learned a lot of your speech po.
Wow, that's good. Thank you. And anong number one strength mo kanina? Ang symbol of strength mo?
For me po, God po, because everything why we here is because of God, the creation of all, the creator of all.
Wow.
So that is my first number one strength po, because every time I felt down po, or every time I encountered problems or felt everything, feelings like happiness, pleasure, sadness, I always called his name po.
That's good. So, ibig sabihin nito, kung religious ka and very spiritual ka, ang magandang pag-iisip mo is definitely leaning to God, no?
Yes,
Kaya ang
po.
puso mo ay puro sa Diyos. And of course, your character strength is spiritual. Yeah, very
Yes,
good.
po.
Maganda yan, Aljon. And Aljon,
Yes, po.
magkakaroon tayo ng activity. It's all about awareness of thoughts, feelings, and behavior. So, ready ka na ba? Handa na ba?
Okay po.
Sige. And I would like you to bring your growing mindset for this morning. And magkakaroon lang tayo ng a little question. Yeah.
Okay po.
Cute lang po
Okay po.
Yeah, Aljon, wait lang pa-mute lang natin. Medyo maingay. Yeah. And Aljon, for example, nagkita tayo sa Caraga and in your school. And nagkita
Yes.
tayo sa elevator, for example. Okay?
Yes,
And
po.
kunyari, ako itong girl na ito, for example, and kunyari, ikaw itong guy na ito. Example lang naman.
Okay po.
Nakikita mo yung yung ating elevator? Nakikita mo sa PowerPoint? Nakita mo yung picture of me and you in the elevator?
Mute po si Aljon.
Ay, hello, Aljon.
Yes po.
Nakamute ka, Aljon.
Okay, yes po. The infamous elevator
Yeah,
incident po.
So unfortunately, in this elevator incident, unfortunately, accidentally, I stepped on your foot, no? And
Yes,
I never said sorry. Okay?
Yes,
And
po.
ano kaya ang maiisip mo sa akin na natapakan kita tapos hindi ako nag-sorry, tapos yung itsura ko medyo snob?
Maybe po, I should understand po because maybe she's from you are from anger, galing ka po sa galit or galing ka po sa problema na may hinaharap kang problema or may mga may nagmamadali ka kaya hindi mo napansin na natapakan mo yung paa ko. So I understand po because I also experienced that po. So everything happens for a reason. I mean, everyone may mga ganoong pangyayari. So we should put ourselves to those people na nakagawa sa atin ng kasalanan o nakagawa sa atin ng mali because we have different what they call this, we have different preferences or problem po, and we should put ourselves to the one that have made mistakes to us po.
Yeah.
We should consider it po.
Grabe, Aljon, ang ganda ng isip mo, no? So parang hindi ka man lang ba nagalit na sa babae na natapakan kita with my 4 inches heeled shoe and then naisip mo pa na baka may problema ako?
Yes po, because yun nga po, we all have problems po, so we should consider na lang po. Because we always put your feet on the ground.
That's good. Napaka-open ng perspective mo and you are very open-minded. So hindi ka agad judgmental, no? And
Yes,
because of that, dahil napakaganda ng iyong perspective, no? Based on your experience and I think your maturity and values that was given to you by your parents and your school, anong magiging paniniwala mo sa akin? Kung ang iyong thoughts ay napakaganda, anong magiging paniniwala mo sa akin?
Paniniwala po for what po?
Sa incident na yon na hindi ko sinasadya?
Yes po, hindi mo sinasadya because siguro busy yung isip mo sa kakaisip ng mga bagay-bagay tapos
or may
hindi mo
problema
napansin.
ako.
Yes po.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier na may problema ako. That's
Yes,
good,
po.
no? So kung ganyan ka considerate ang utak mo at hindi ka kagad nag-impulsive, hindi ka kagad pinicturean ako, twinit ako sa aking Twitter account, no? Or sa iyong Twitter account na ako ay bad person, no? At naging magandang yung perspective. What will be your feeling that day? Mababad trip ka ba o hindi?
Hindi po because as what I have said, considerate po just I still be calm po.
Yeah, you will be calmer, no? Hindi ka maapektuhan kasi isip mo, nag-stop ka, nag-isip ka at hindi ka naging impulsive. And what will be your behavior that day? Kung naging maganda ang pag-iisip mo, naging maganda ang yung paniniwala, naging maganda ang yung puso, naging maganda, ano nangyayari sa behavior mo? Especially on your online learning, with your online learning, and then nakita mo, pagpasok mo sa klase, ako pala ang iyong professor na nakatapak sa'yo.
I should say sorry for being late and yun, ano na lang, diretso sa upuan. Hihingi ng paumanin bakit na late, ganun. Wala lang.
So ibig sabihin is magiging normal ang behavior mo.
Yes,
and of course, your physical reaction also be what you call normal. So walang magiging problema. Hindi ka naman nag-answer back, no? Hindi ka naman nagmura sa teacher mo, etc. So Aljon, if I may ask, in this cognitive model that we are using, do you have any observations or thought or feelings or any reflections or insights regarding this activity?
From what we talk about po, we should all be open-minded po in all life aspects po.
Yeah, very good, no? Ang galing ni Aljon. And saan yan nagkakaroon ng problema? Is it the situation? Is it the thoughts, the feelings, the behavior, or the physical reaction?
Po?
Saan kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng problema? Is it more on the situation, yung accident na natapakan kita? Is it more on our feelings, our behavior, or physical reaction?
For me po, siguro sa feelings po.
Sa feeling, oo. So yes, actually, wala namang tama or mali dito na sagot, no? Ang pinaka ano dito, Aljon, is lesson that I want to impart here is, alam natin na ang pandemic is a negative situation. But kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng stress sa ating pandemic situation na nagli-lead ng depression and anxiety is because of what? It is not the situation, but our negative thoughts, no, that can lead to negative feelings, negative behavior, and physical reaction. Kaya very important po, no, na itong activity na to nagsasabi na very important na ayusin muna natin ang ating isip, huminto, huminga, at tingnan ang perspective at i-weigh ang circumstances so that you can have what you call a better thought, a better belief, a better feeling, better behavior, and physical reaction. Kasi kung ikaw ay nagwala kanina at minura mo ako, and you never weigh the station, at ikaw ay hindi gumamit ng iyong malawak na pag-iisip, hindi ka magkakaroon ng malawak at magandang puso, galaw, and of course, physical action. At ang inyong online learning ay definitely magiging failure. Okay?
Yes po.
Yeah. So it's more on what? It is more on the positive response rather than the negative reaction to the stressful situation brought about by the pandemic. Okay? Thank you, Aljon. Alam mo, Aljon, ang galing mo. Kasi nakikita ko na maganda ang values mo kasi malawak ang pag-iisip mo. Hindi ka kagad nagalit, no? Kanino mo kaya nakuha yan? Saan mo kaya yan nakuha?
I have a lot. I mean, I'm a reader of Wattpad stories po, especially real life stories po. So with that po, nakaka-relate ako kasi mismo po ako. I have experienced some of that scenario po. So with that po, napapalawak ko yung isip ko, yung understanding ko on how to handle each situation po in life po.
Yeah, very good, no? So malawak ang yung perspective, kaya magandang yung puso, that you have empathy. And very important na isa yan sa coping mechanism natin, na tayo ay magbasa pag tayo ay nasa stress, para mas matuto tayo at makita natin ang iba't ibang kultura, and we have some international mindedness, and we can be considerate with other people. Palakpakan naman po natin si Aljon. Ang galing-galing niya. Thank you, Aljon.
Thank
Maraming
you
salamat.
po. Thank you po.
Yes. Yeah. So according to Grout, sabi po is that to impact the field and draw from it sa atin pong magandang paniniwala. At ito po ang magbibigay sa atin ng magandang expectation. And of course, we will be successful in this pandemic kung maganda ang ating healthy response brought about by thoughts that can become our belief, behavior, and our character. So katulad po nitong question na ito, pag tayo po ay kakaroon ng maraming work from home tasks or ating mga online learning, very important po no, na ayusin po natin ang ating magandang pag-iisip. At hindi po natin laging ilalagay sa utak natin na, oh, ang dami, overwhelming, no? At itong pagiging overwhelming sa ating isip, ito ay hindi magpapatulog sa atin. And this could lead to a negative feeling of anxiety that will tend us to be anxious and nervous and down. At magkakaroon din ito ng spine ng negative physical reaction na pwede kang mag-avoid ng iyong online learning and other tasks. And of course, ang magiging resulta ay failure. Kaya po sana natuto po tayo in this little cognitive model by using the right strengths that we have coming from our God-given thoughts, feelings, behavior, and of course, our character.
Ayan, Doc
So sabi
Shane,
po,
Doc Shane.
yes, sir.
Ayan, may maganda ritong mga sinasabi mga students natin sa chat
sige,
box,
sir.
ano, para lang ma-share natin sa bawat isa.
Sige po.
Okay, let me see. So, sabi dito ni Teresita Magsio, ayan, everything you act can bring help to others. I smile, though natapakan niyo ako, para mahawa kayo sa virus smile, ano? Para I can only imagine kung ano yung itsura niya sinabi. Ay, natapakan ako.
Oo,
Awesome!
ngiti na lang tayo. Hindi yung magmumura tayo, 'di ba? Sabihin natin doon sa babae, "Leche ka naman, ganyan-ganyan." Yung pala teacher
Ayan.
mo. So,
Ayan,
or baka
tapos,
po hindi po talaga sinasadya, 'di ba?
right, oo. Sabi naman ni Gabriel Ramos, the mind shouldn't be tainted with all thoughts for it will never yield positive results. Yan.
Yeah. Kaya very important po na tumigil at mag-stop at huminga at maging mindful sa ating pag-iisip para hindi po
Palagay
tayo
ko ito ang
madisgrasya.
pinakamaganda, Doc Shake, na comment or remarks
sige
dito.
po, sir.
Ano, matutuwa ka dito. Sabi niya dito, asterisk, clap, clap. Palakpakan, yun ang kanyang gusto sabihin. Ayan, so tuwan-tuwa naman tayo na isa pa lang yan sa mga student reactors natin or responses. Ano. However, marami dito. No, mamaya, if Carlos Martin Cruz is still on in the house or online, ayan, tatawagin ka po maya-mayang konti, talagang ako mismo, Doc Shake, medyo talaga ako, na-touch ako doon sa mga insights na galing doon sa ating student, kay Aljon, and also the affirmation na galing sa'yo, and it brought me back at least to some insights as well na baka makaano to. Of course, I am confident this will land on something, hindi lamang sa ating mga students but also to those who are dealing with students, parents, yung mga ikang familiar sa nasa loob ng bahay. One of actually my inspirations is coming from Rhonda Byrne's the concept of vibration. So there are times, lalo na doon na nandoon tayo sa elevator na example na yon, na may mga vibes talaga tayo na absorb, either positive or negative. So tawag dito, and it triggers our thought, na whatever you think, whatever you choose to think will be your feeling. So sabi nga, choose your thought and choose your emotions. Ayan. Pag inisip mo na ganoon, naku, baggage yan, dala-dala mo na yan sa buong maghapon. Ayan. In fact, nung ako ay nasa active classroom setting, ang laging-lagi kong sinishare or ini-inspire sa mga students natin, yung ganito ba, tawag dito, pagpapasok kayo, pagpag-concept, pagpag ninyo kung anong issues nyo sa labas by the doorstep. Kasi pagpasok ninyo, nobody deserves your angas, nobody deserves your hang-ups and then whatever that baggage na dala-dala ninyo. Same wise, ako din, with the faculty na kasama ko din na in my little way of influencing na kung ano mga issues ninyo, domestics ninyo dyan, hindi deserve ng estudyante na papasok tayo tapos sila yung parang punching bag or shock absorber ng mga issues natin. Ika nga, once na tumuntong ang paa mo sa loob ng classroom, you mean business. You are a teacher, you are an instructor, a lecturer, and sa side ng estudyante, sayang yung investment mo for your time, for the money that your parents are sending you with or for that to learn. Tapos maghapon ka lang nakakatonic mode, no? Nakatulalay mode, ganyan, walay lang, ganyan. Yung parang nakakarinig pero hindi naintindihan, nakakakita pero hindi namamalayan, at nakaka-relate sa sarili naman.
Oh, ang galing ni Sir Poet din pala ito. Anyway, sir, maraming salamat po, no? So lagi po natin tatandaan na itong mga automatic thoughts na ito ay kailangan po natin iproseso at gamitin natin ang ating malawak na perspective. Kasi pag hindi po natin na preno yan, ito po ay pwede maging quick thoughts that can make or break our life. At ito po yung tinatawag na cognitive distortion. At ito pong cognitive distortion na ito po yung nagbibigay sa atin ng overthinking, exaggeration, or all or nothing principle. Na ito po ay nagli-lead ng mental health problems. Okay? So, just to end this, sir, before we go to our testimony with Russell, no, that why do we distort reality? Tayo po lahat, no, ay pwede pong guilty dyan. Kaya importante po, no, na tayo ay huminga, mag-isip-isip, at hindi ho pabigla-bigla sa ating mga emosyon. Okay? And lagi po natin tatandaan that our life is our message. And our message, according to Gandhi, no, is rooted from our healthy thoughts, healthy behavior, and of course, healthy character strength. No? And before I end, lagi lang natin tatandaan, no, that what I've used is a strengths-based approach and what they call the cognitive-based model. At punta po tayo, no, hanapin po natin ang ating lakas, no? And then afterwards, punta po tayo what we enjoy pero hindi po fake enjoyment. And then emphasize on positive. Wag po tayong mawawalan ng pag-asa and aspire to be better, no? And because of this, we can have what we call building our family, our community, and our school strengths. So we are all for the holistic well-being, no? Hindi lang po ng ating pagiging well-educated, pero pagkakaroon din po ng character, strengths, and values. And I do hope at the end of this activity, we'll be the best advocate of our strengths, no? And of our family, our loved ones, the strength of our school, our organization, of course, CHED, our community, our country. And I do hope that we can nourish our God-given strengths and be grateful. Magpasalamat po tayo na tayo po ay blessed with a lot of strengths. And I do hope that be the best you. I do hope that you can share the strength na binigay po sana namin ngayong umagang ito. And lagi po nating tatandaan, according to Pablo Picasso, that the meaning of life, no, is to find your gift of strength. And of course, the purpose of life, sana po after this, i-share nyo rin po ito sa inyong mga loved ones. Okay? So I do hope sana po natuto tayo in this little activity that we had, coming from using our strengths, no? And of course, our environmental strength. And I do hope that we can stop our negative thoughts. And I do hope that we can start something to nourish our thought so that we can have what you call prevention of mental health concerns. So ako po ulit si Dr. Sheikh, and these are some of my books, no? Pag meron po kayong time, you can check my books. It's with the Rex publication, My Career Journey, at ang proceeds po niyan ay tutulong po sa ating mental health advocacy program ng aming pong organisasyon, the Philippine Guidance and Counseling Association, and the scholarship funds po para po sa mga guidance counselors in the rural area in the country. And of course, every Saturday, sana po manood kayo ng aming show ni Father Tito Kaluwag, 4 to 5 p.m. po. Yan po yung tinatawag na Wonder Teacher para po sa kapakanan ng ating mga guro, of course, sa ating kabataan at ng ating mga pamilya. So thank you so much, and I will be introducing now Russell, no, for our testimony. And if you want to reach me, these are my FB page and Instagram, my YouTube and LinkedIn. And of course, Sir Nestor, I give the floor to you now. Thank you again for inviting us, and kayo na po yung mag-introduce properly kay Sir Russell. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Hello, hello, hello! Ayan, ako, nakakabitin naman, di ba? Parang buong maghapon and for 7 days, 24/7, pwede natin pag-usapan ng mga ganyan-ganyan, yung mga hugot galore ng ating mga estudyante, di ba? Gayon pa man, of course. There will always be another time. Kaya thank you very much, Doc Shake, for later on ilalagay ni Doc Shake ang kanyang email and kung saan nyo siya makukontak. Kaya tandaan natin, sabi nga ni Doc Shea, as inspired by Picasso, parang all-purpose floor lang. Pag tingin mo, hindi mo alam kung ano ang purpose mo, tingnan mo ang all-purpose floor. Diba? Kahit saan pwede siyang gamitin. And we will always have that. Diba? Pero hindi ko sinabing maging harina or anong tawag dyan, cornstarch. What I just simply mean is that, when you think, don't think that you don't have any purpose at all. Everybody does. Ayan, lahat tayo meron. And from here, ayan po, para ituloy ang ating mga inquiries pa coming from our students, from our viewers, ayan, tawagin po natin si Sir Victor M. Castello, our education supervisor too, also from CHED NCR. Sir Victor, please be on deck. Sir Vic. Ayan, habang inaantay po natin siya, sabi dito, shout out from Southern City Colleges, yan Zamboanga, understanding is the best way and adjust. Ayan, parang pantalon lang po, adjust. Hindi po sa lahat ng tao kayang umintindi. Hindi lahat ng bewang, one size fits all. Ayan. Sir Vic, please.
Mute po si Sir. Sir Vic,
hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. So, merong isang question dito, pero marami kasi ang lagi sinasabi ay thank you, Dr. Sheikh. Very informative ang iyong shinare ngayong umaga. So, ang question lang nila dito, may isa akong question na nakita, sabi niya. Since malapit na yung pasukan, so they're still wondering na paano kaya, anong gagawin nila? Kasi po, kami po ay gusto namin pumasok o magkaroon ng pasukan na, kaya lang, ang mga magulang din namin ang masyadong nag-aalala kung papayagan ba kami o hindi. Yun po ang kanilang tanong po.
Hello, Sir Victor. Yeah, of course, very important na ang CHED naman ay nag-a-assess, no? Kung tayo ay pwede na bang pumasok or hindi. And of course, CHED will definitely give us, no, the safety, no, and the security na kung hindi pa talaga safe, ay of course, hindi pa tayo papapasukin. Pero kung safe na, definitely papapasukin. Of course, with the right guidelines and the right protocol. Kaya po, i-assess din po natin, ang takot ba natin ay talaga bang opinion lamang or ito ay may katotohanan, no? So of course, we'll leave it to CHED for the assessment and of course, may mga memo naman yan. So bago nila kayo papasukan. So wala kayong dapat ikatakot dahil as of the moment, hindi pa naman talaga. Kaya tayo binibigyan ng mga webinars na ganito para lang matuto tayo, no, on how to cope and adjust, no? Para in the future, pag ready na ang ating utak, puso at galaw. Pero as of the moment, I think hindi pa dahil ngayon nga ay nasa ECQ tayo. So I think nothing to worry. Di ba, Sir Victor, ina-assess nyo po naman properly kung talagang safe na. Siyempre, hindi naman na isusugod ang ating mga estudyante. Marami pa talagang virus, ba, lalo na ECQ ngayon.
Tama po, Dr. Sheikh. Kasi actually po, well, I was just privileged nga po na isa po ako sa National Capital Region na kasama na nag-iinspeksyon ng mga schools if they are really compliant sa limited face-to-face classes. So kapag ang eskwelahan
Yan.
po ay hindi
Hindi pa
nakasunod
compliant.
o
Oo.
hindi pa compliant,
Siyempre,
hindi po
bawal pa, di ba, sir?
po kayo, Dr. Shay. Kaya asahan po ng ibang schools o ibang mga bata, estudyante, inuna lang po ngayon yung mga nasa medicine schools at allied health medical programs na magkaroon po ng limited face-to-face classes po. Ano ha? And I think meron pa pong...
Ayan, so inassure na tayo ni Sir Victor, no? Na talaga pong ina-assess nila properly para hindi po tayo magkaroon ng spread of the virus.
I don't know if this question is for you, ma'am. Ang sabi po dito, galing po sa Caraga, mandatory po ba na magpa-vaccine? If vaccinated, is it true po ba na hindi assurance ang vaccine na hindi mahawa ng virus? What are the remedies or prepared assessment po for this? I do not know, ma'am, if this is for you talaga.
Naku, hindi ko po alam kung sa akin yan. Pero kung ako lang po, ang opinion ko lang is, of course, kausap ko lang po sila, yung mga ating mga vaccine expert, no, sa ABS nung nag-interview po kami. Sila Dr. Nina Karandang and other Gloriani, no, sila po mga expert. And very important na lahat po yan ay pinag-aralan ng ating mga eksperto. At importante po, ako po kasi I'm a vaccine advocate, na mas matutulungan po natin maging safe ang ating sarili at ang ating mga loved ones at pamilya kung tayo po'y magpapavaccine para po ma-prevent ang spread ng virus. Okay? So sana po magpa-vaccine po tayo. And soon na po yan. Ako excited na ako.
Here's a question po, Dr. Sheikh. We always strive to be positive despite the situation we are in. Where do we draw the line po kung nagiging toxic na po yung ating positivity?
So very important po, no, in the resiliency model, meron po tayong tinatawag na pag bumagsak tayo, importante po na anong gagawin? Pwede naman pong bumagsak, wag lang pong bagsak ng bagsak. Kaya po ang gagawin natin para umangat, ano pong gagawin natin? Magandang pag-iisip, katulad kanina yung ginawa ni Aljon, 'di ba? Tiningnan ang perspective para umangat, no? Kasi tingnan nyo kanina dun sa ating activity na hindi naman pala talaga galit si ma'am, no? Kaya lang nagkaroon lang talaga siya ng concern na hindi niya sinasadya, no? So ibig sabihin, no, is that tingnan po natin kung ang ating positivity ay dinadaya lang natin. So tingnan natin, ito ba ay katotohanan o ito ay exaggeration lang, no? So gamitin natin ang malawak na open-mindedness at malawak na perspective. Lagi po natin tatandaan na katulad ng pag nakakita po tayo ng mahirap sa daan, na hindi po lahat ng mahirap ay tamad. May mga pinagdaanan po yan, no? So open perspective. Bakit kaya, for example, may kaklase ka na mayabang? Tingnan mo ang kultura, baka may kultura kung bakit siya mayabang. Di ba meron tayong mga kultura? Or bakit siya kuripot? Pwedeng ito ay nakuha sa ating region ng kuripot. No, kilala natin ng may mga, pero hindi naman lahat kuripot. No? Tingnan natin, ito ba ay panganay? Ito ba ay pangalawa? Bakit kaya siya spoiled? Bakit kaya siya medyo may pagka-dominant? No? So lawakan po natin ang ating perspective at tingnan natin kung ano ang kanyang background para lumawak at hindi maging toxic positive at magkaroon ng objective analysis of what's happening. Okay? Pag meron kayo mga klase na feeling nyo mahina ang ulo, lagi nyo pong tatandaan na wala pong ginawa ang Diyos na may mahina ang ulo. Pero may mga pinagdaanan po sila. Okay? So pwedeng na trauma, pwedeng naging victims of circumstances. Kaya po isa ho, pag na-trauma tayo is talaga nagiging slow ang ating pag-iisip. So lawakan po natin ang ating pag-iisip. At wag po nating isipin na mahina ang isang tao dahil lahat po ay may lakas.
Oh, thank you po, Dr. Sheikh. So, kung sino po ang nakaiintindi, siya po ang dapat umunawa. Yun po ang naintindihan ko po.
Yeah. Totoo po yan. And of course, in short, wag judgmental. Don't for merits of people, no? But really see the background of every situation and be automatic and impartial.
Thank you po. Yun lamang po. Back to you, our host, Sir Nestor.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir Victor. Marami pong salamat. Hindi sinabi rin po nung no? Have empathy. Very
Ayan.
important yan.
Okay. Ayan. Sabi dito sa chat box, Doc Shake, thank you for making me smile. Ako may take home ako doon sa sinabi mo. Di ba? At saka kay Sir Victor. No? Dighay. Inhale. Pero ingatan, baka madiglow. Sa iba lumabas, ha? Take note. Dighay lang. No? Yan, lahat tayo may pinagdadaanan pero wag mag-stop over, wag tumambay. Life goes on just like the water on the river, it flows. Sabi nga ni Heraclitus. Ayan, you never step on the same spot on the water twice. Kaya tuloy lang ang buhay. Ayan, and from here, ayan, naku, kulang ang ating oras. Ayan, Doc Chick, please don't forget to share your contact and then your email para maka-reach out ang ating mga students na, ayan, nakikita ko dito from different parts of the country at parang meron pa yatang overseas. Anyway, yan. So from here, let us call on our, once again, Supervising Education Program Specialist, Ma'am Liza Libertine L. Magana, to award our Certificate of Appreciation.
Good morning once again and thank you, Dr. Sheikh. Alam nyo, actually narinig kitang nag-talk in one of our activity in SFC.
Yeah. Opo, sa international conference.
Yes, opo.
You're a singles for Christ po or couples?
Couples po. Couple coordinator po kami.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Sister ka
Yes.
pala, ma'am.
Opo.
Nice to meet you po.
Nice to meet you din po. So we would like to really appreciate your being with us this morning. Talaga pong marami kang natulungan na mga estudyante, and we really hope na with this webinar we are able to provide some guidance to our students, especially with this time of pandemic. So this certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to our speaker for this morning, Dr. Sheila Marie Sheikh G. Hoxon, for sharing her invaluable time and expertise as resource person in the #Kamalayan Progressive Webinar Series 3, Mind Matters, Preparing Oneself, Embracing the New Normal, held on the 7th day of April 2020 via Zoom at the Commission on Higher Education National Capital Region, second floor, HEDC Building, CP Garcia Avenue, UP Campus Diliman, Quezon City, signed by our Director, Dr. Virginia D. Aquiate, CESO 3. Thank you, Doc Sheikh.
Thank you po, Dr. Lisa, sister. Thank you po. Maraming salamat po.
Dr. Sheila Marie Sheikh G. Hoxon, ayan, for sharing her expertise at ang kanyang galing sa larangan na ito ng ating ng ating webinar. Once again, you are tuned in at Kamalayan Progressive Webinar Series 3 with the theme Mind Matters, Preparing Oneself, Embracing the New Normal. And from here, we will be having a presentation from Emilio Aguinaldo College. Ayan. DJ, please take it away.
Thank you, frontliners, for taking care of our world.
Zoo, 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 zoo.
Okay. Ay, all right, so we are being reminded by that presentation or that performance by Emilio Aguinaldo College na ayan, talagang let's do our part. Tulungan natin ang ating mga frontliners to really win this fight, this invisible war, no? Pansinin niyo, ang kalaban natin ngayon hindi na kailangan ng passport, hindi na kailangan ng sasakyan, pero nakatawid sa iba't ibang political boundaries ng ating mundo. Kaya let's do our share. Be a very good backliner. Stay at home, follow the protocol, mag-ingat, and be conscious na kung hindi man tayo mahawaan, ay huwag tayong makahawa. Ayan. So from here, let us be reminded of the following. My dear friends, students, and everyone, please accomplish the evaluation form. Like, follow, share, and subscribe to our official Facebook page and YouTube channel for updates and notifications. Of course, sharing is caring. Yan. Participate in the succeeding Kamalayan webinar series. And of course, please stay tuned. Ayan. So once again, you are in the Kamalayan Progressive Webinar Series 3, Mind Matters, Preparing Oneself, Embracing the New Normal. So from here, we shall be calling again one of our education supervisor at CHED NCR. This time to introduce our second resource person, Ms. Shelo A. Bari. Come on down, Ma'am.
Good morning, our progressive audience. We are proud to introduce the next speaker. He is a former president of various organizations like FEU Peer Counselors, FEU College Club, and College Student YMCA Council, a three-time Speaker of the House in National Congress of College Students, and represented the Philippines in 2013 International Youth Conference that was held in Singapore. He headed numerous projects like Peers, Unite for Mental Health Congress, and the Braveheart Project. Mental Health Summit in 2018 channeled the character in you, peer assertiveness and confidence, and the Braveheart Project Stories of Hope support group. He was awarded in 2018 as the 10 Outstanding Peers of the Philippines and awardee of YMCA Leadership Excellence. In 2011, he was one of the 10 outstanding students of Manila, an inspirational speaker, a facilitator, a leader, and currently the co-founder of Be the One PH, a youth-led volunteer organization which initiates donation drives for communities affected by calamities. Ladies and gentlemen, the President Emeritus of FEU University Peer Counselors and the co-founder of the Be the One PH. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Russell John Batoy.
Hello po. Good morning. Am I audible?
Good morning po.
Good morning po.
Good morning po.
Good
So to
morning po.
our
Good morning po.
magandang umaga po.
Good morning po.
To our Director Ma'am Virginia Aciate.
Morning po.
Morning.
Stay safe po.
Stay safe. Sige, alright. So to our CHED heads, Ma'am Virginia Aciate, Sir Nestor Tadena, Ma'am Annalyn Diaz, Sir Victor Castelo, Ma'am Liza Magana, Ma'am Shelo Parit, other CHED staff, educators, mental health advocates, fellow students, good morning po ulit sa inyong lahat. And ngayon po, I'll just be giving you a testimony. It's about my personal experience. It's a life experience. And I hope that you'll be able to learn something from me, especially sa mga fellow students ko ngayon, na alam ko marami din kayong pinagdadaanan and marami tayong struggles, na talagang yung iba sa atin nahihirapan. But I hope after with all the topics and the sharings na pag-uusapan natin ngayon, we'll be able to give to shed light on some important issues, and especially sa mental health natin, So let me share my screen first. Nakikita na po yung screen ko. Medyo, ayan. Sige po. Saglit lang po. Medyo mabagal po kasi yung internet ngayon. Yung service provider namin ay kinokontak namin for some time now. Anyway, alam ko lahat naman tayo
Ayan, hello. Mukhang nagkakaroon ng technical issue or connection issue si Sir Russell. Ayan, hintayin-tayin lang natin. In the meantime, of course, we would like to remind everyone that our link for our post-webinar evaluation form ay naka-upload sa ating chat box. Please check it out. Ayan. Tapos, of course, we would like to greet some of our participants. Yan. From Bulacan, from Laguna, from Rizal, from Quezon, ayan. Okay, from different parts of their country. Ayan, and some other access from on the online or viewing from our FB page. So you are viewing our Kamalayan Webinar Series 3, Mind Matters. Ayan po, no? Preparing oneself, embracing the new normal. Okay. So, andyan na po ba ulit si Sir Russell?
Yes, sir. Nandiyan na po ulit.
Andyan na po ulit. So, once again, let us welcome back Sir Russell Batoy.
Ayan. Sorry po, I don't know what happened. Nag-crash po yung screen ko. But anyway, I'm sorry. Mag-share po ulit ako ng screen. Okay. Ayan. Can you see my presentation na po? All right.
Yes.
Thank you. So again, good morning, and this is what my friends call a brave story. So I'm just going to share with you my life story. So, but before that, I just would like to, of course, say this. This is my personal motto or my life's mantra. Failure is just a detour. And what matters is we stand up again each time that we encounter failure. And sabi nga sa akin ni Sir Nestor Tadena nung nag-usap kami before, no, yung failure naman is not, it's very subjective. No? Madedefine lang yung failure kapag ka pinili mo na magstay doon. So you have to move forward and you have to, wag daw tayong tumambay doon sa mga problema natin. Alright? And of course, what matters is we stand up again and this time, braver. So this was me. This is me as a young boy, and I consider that I came from a very happy family, and I was raised in an environment where I've always felt the love of my parents, my siblings, and relatives. And growing up, my mom would always bring me to different barrios in my hometown, El Nido, Palawan. And because of that, because my mom is a registered nurse and siya ay isang field nurse, and at a young age, I had seen life in a different lens because I was exposed, I was immersed in different communities. And I personally saw what my mom did during that time. And 10 years later, we moved to Manila. And at this point, I set out a goal for my dreams. No, I told myself that I have to be an achiever, that I have to always make my parents proud of me. And I think somehow that I was able to do that. So whenever I see the glow on their faces, I felt like I was the happiest child in the world. I was 12 years old then when my parents decided to work overseas. And sa mga katulad kong anak ng OFWs, feeling ko or mostly naman I hope no na sana yung mga reasons kung bakit sa London is of course to to give us a better life, to provide us good education, to give us a better future, a brighter future. And yes, they had to work abroad para nga mabigyan kami lahat, no, kaming magkakapatid ng maayos sa buhay. And young as I was, I had no choice but to live independently, literally. Although some of my relatives would come visit me sometimes, but it wasn't really easy living my life without my parents to guide me. So, but you know what? I would always hear my mom say, "Huwag kang magre-rebelde or huwag kang gagawa ng kung ano-ano dahil darating yung panahon na kailangan mong tumayo sa sarili mong paa. You are the captain of your own ship, and kung ano yung gagawin mo ngayon, yun yung makaapekto sa future mo." So I could never forget those words. So I focused on my studies, and I joined academic competitions nationally and internationally. And yes, I was actually one of the top students in my school, no, back in high school. And college came, and just like what I had been doing in high school, I think somehow I continued to excel. In my first year, I already became a president of a university-wide organization in FEU called the FEU College-wide Club, or the YMCA. And I participated in various conferences abroad and competitions as well. And you know what? It was like a routine. It has become a routine or a cycle, and nothing was really new. And I thought that I was happy and I thought that I was doing good. But something unexpectedly dark was just lurking around the corner. And as frustrations began to pile up, things led me deeper into misery. And I became the child that my mom and my parents never wanted me to become. I started skipping classes until I wanted to stop schooling. I lost my focus. I did not know what to do. So I never really told my parents about this. Only my closest friends knew, because I felt like at the time I really had no connection with my parents because they were both working abroad, and I only had myself and sometimes my friends with me during the hard times. And 4 years ago, I suffered from depression. I was diagnosed with a major depressive disorder, and it was the darkest moment in my life that I have ever experienced. I remember myself just lying in bed, tears streaming down my face, and sobbing into my pillows. And sometimes I didn't even have the energy to cry. I only wanted to lie there and just feeling helpless about my situation because I didn't know at the time what was wrong. I avoided my friends. I I locked myself up in my own apartment, and at times, still I wanted to be alive and I wanted to enjoy life. I wanted to be normal. I wanted to force myself out of this situation that I was caged in. And but then I would be pulled back into that black hole again, feeling powerless. And I knew at the time that I was struggling, and I lost my mere purpose of existence. And under the shadow of sadness, I sank deeper into the abyss. But the truth of my experience was that I I attempted to end my journey, and I was hospitalized for a couple of weeks, and all I could see was darkness. I remember that sometimes I would hear voices. My mom was crying, my dad was shouting, and other voices that were familiar to me. It was like a dream, but it felt real. And when I finally woke up, I saw my mom, I saw my friends and other relatives. They were smiling at me, and it seemed like nothing really happened. It seemed like I didn't do anything wrong, that life is just normal life and everything was okay. And I took my first breath again, and I cried so hard. I felt like I was given another opportunity to live this life again. I prayed to God, and I asked for His forgiveness, and I asked Him to please let me live. I lived, but survival was just the beginning of a much bigger fight. Waking up every morning, going through the whole day, and even getting myself sleep at night have been a vicious cycle of struggles. It was really debilitating and disabling. Recovery was not easy, but I consider myself lucky that in every step of the way, I have felt the love and support of the people around me. Only few people knew about my experience, but I was really thankful that they were there. So I started rebuilding my life again. I went back to school, and piece by piece, I saw my little hopes. But still, I couldn't share this experience with anyone. So I left my story somewhere. Because I think at the time, the stigma on mental health was very strong. And people who have lived experiences, people who have pre existing mental health conditions were afraid to let anyone know about it because they know that they would be judged. They know that they would be seen as a lesser person at that time. So I was scared of that too. I was not informed, or I I didn't know anything about mental health at that time. But it was in 2017 during the very first mental health week in my university, FEU Manila. An officer of the student council asked me if I could give my thoughts or at least a message on the importance of mental health. She did not know about my story, or she did not know that I actually suffered from a mental health condition. And at first I was hesitant and I felt really uncomfortable because I left my story somewhere, just like what I told you. I didn't want anyone to know about it. And but when I went home, I found myself crying again. But then I was able to pull myself up together, and I started writing my story. Later on, it was posted on Facebook page of that organization. And one midnight, even with all the fears and doubts that I have inside of me, I took that last ounce of courage and I posted it on my personal Twitter account. And when I woke up in the morning, I received hundreds of messages from strangers. My story went viral, and it overwhelmed me. In a week, I my inbox really blew up, and thousands of messages came in. They continued to come, and some shared their struggles, and some sent me words of encouragement. And at that time, I thought of going out of my cage, but I wanted to help others as well. That's when the Braveheart Project started. It's a personal advocacy of mine. But then when I was about to like really pursue this advocacy, as a student leader, I participated in various activities in my university. So I think a year later, another battle came. I participated in this student election, and they offered me to run as the central president of my university because of my advocacy. And raising the flag of genuine student leadership was a responsibility that I have carried out throughout the campaign. It was a great opportunity that I would always be proud of, even at the time of losing that battle. Yes, it was heartbreaking, and for some other people, and for those people who are listening right now who have achieved so much in life, this may look this might look a very simple, a very petty one, but at that time, for me, it was heartbreaking. But then I knew that that was still part of life. Sometimes we win and sometimes we lose. Yes, it was not easy recovering again, but I did. I thought at that time, maybe I should just stop my advocacy. Maybe I should just quit doing this because nobody believed in me, or those people who believed in me were not enough to make me to further out my advocacy. But I was given another reason to continue, and I was reminded that there's still something I can do. In the summer of 2018, I received an email invitation from the Divine Word College of Calapan in Calapan City, Mindoro. They wanted me to share about my leadership journey and my advocacy. And honestly, the only reason why I accepted that invitation was because I needed some time to unwind. I wanted to go to Puerto Galera. I wanted to go to enjoy summer vacation. I wanted to distract myself. But it turned out amazingly different. After my talk, one student approached me, and he started crying. He started crying while because he told me that he badly wanted to end his journey as well. and he wanted to give up on his life, but he was also thanking me for coming. In my mind, I thought that maybe he was sent to me to remind me that there's something I can do. There's still something that I can do with my life. And it's about saving people one life at a time. And that became my life's purpose. When I went back in Manila, Mr. Dan Talusan and Dr. Sheikh Hoxon asked me to be part of the FE University Peer Counselors. And that gave a new journey of the brave heart. Now, I finally found my way forward. I served as the president of both um, Peer Organization of the Philippines, the PGCA Peer Organization of the Philippines, and the FU University Peer Counselors. And through the Braveheart Project, I have been able to work with various events and organizations that help promote mental health awareness. I have also started receiving speaking invitations that have allowed me to further my mental health advocacy and by reaching more brave hearts and by knowing their stories. And this time during these are the peer counselors in my university, the people that I have worked alongside with during the time that mental health cases or suicide cases in our university and in the student population in our country have really gone high. And so this and now and in 2020 during the pandemic, on April 4, 2020, my friends and I founded this volunteer organization called Be the One PH, and we were able to we were able to raise some donations for vulnerable communities here in our country. And later on, I would tell you why some realizations that I've had after being able to do this, to be part of this organization. But I'm just going to share with you some coping strategies that I have during that helped me cope with, of course, the stress during the pandemic. First, this is very simple, and I hope that later on during the Q&A, you can ask a lot of things. And of course, with the help of Dr. Shikokson, we can elaborate more. So first, I believe that I know that COVID pandemic has really caused a dramatic rise in mental health issues because I think mental health is one of the sideline concerns right now because I know that we have a bigger problem. We have a bigger war, invisible war against the COVID 19. And pandemics are not really declared lightly, especially here in the Philippines. And of course, with this, an increase in our stress is a normal response. Coronavirus can really have a significant effect on our mental health, especially for those who have pre-existing mental health conditions. Of course, meron tayong anxiety na baka makontract natin ang virus and fear of losing our loved ones because wala namang pinipili na edad, wala namang pinipili na edad, na gender, na religion ang COVID, no? Lahat talaga ay at risk. And I know that students like me and students like you are listening right now are experiencing higher levels of stress and anxiety, no? Habang nagkakaroon din tayong struggles natin to cope with the online learning. And of course, the problem of feeling disconnected, no, sa ibang tao. And sometimes it can easy for us to take our mental health for granted, to prioritize other things, to put it off until next week. But I hope that these things that I would be telling you could really help you somehow to cope with the stresses that this pandemic brings. So first, you have to recognize your stress. Of course, dapat malalaman natin if we are sad, we are confused, we are very much irritated, yung anger natin, no? We have reduced concentration, meron tayong social withdrawal or social isolation. We have interpersonal problems that hinder us from communicating to other people. We feel tension sometimes and we feel reduced energies and we have sleeping problems, insomnia or hypersomnia, even nightmares at night. And I think the first step to manage these symptoms is to recognize na ito ay mga symptoms po ng stress natin. And siguro ito yung mga bagay na nagdi-disrupt sa balance natin, no, yung equilibrium ng body natin. And dapat i-acknowledge muna natin that we are stressed. We should never deprive ourselves from feeling basic emotions that we feel. It's okay not to be okay. However, that brings me to my next point. Manage your thoughts and your feelings. I hope that you would remember this thing that I would tell you: manage what you can and release what you cannot. Of course, instead of adding up to your stress, no, by trying to control the things that are beyond your grasp, try to at least manage what you can and just release what you cannot. No, you cannot let go of the temptation to try to control what you really can. So for the meantime, you can just set them aside, and then ano muna yung kaya natin gawin. Kasi sometimes when we are bombarded with a lot of things, when we are bombarded with a lot of activities na hindi natin kayang gawin ng sabay-sabay, sobrang mas nai-stress tayo. So I hope that you can learn to manage muna what you really can, manage muna kung ano muna yung kaya ng plate mo, and then later on, saka natin puntahan yung mga bagay na medyo mahirap-hirap na. So it's we really need to be able to put at least one step muna, no, para natin siya masolusyonan lahat, no, at least for someone who has a pre-existing mental health condition. And next, of course, is know your limitations. Of course, when you pay attention to your stress management, you will begin to notice yung pattern, no, that will sabi nila, that will signal your level, your threshold of tolerance, or yung level of tolerance mo. Hindi natin, alam ko naman yung limitations naman natin, nagva-vary yan, depende kung sino tayo, depende kung yung emotional capacity natin as a person, or kung paano natin na-handle yung stress natin, yung level of stress that we are experiencing. And however, I think that, of course, by knowing your limitation, you won't overextend yourself, and you will be able to put a boundary to protect your well-being. And of course, this is I know this is kind of hard to be mindful of your social media consumption, because right now everything that we do is reliant to internet, to social media. To get updated, you need to, kung wala kayong TV sa bahay, by using our phones lang or maybe our laptops, we can get updates sa nangyayari sa bansa natin, nangyayari sa buong mundo, yung mga important updates din sa schools natin, announcement from yung mga sa ating local governments, and even sa Commission on Higher Education regarding yung sa pagbabalik ng face-to-face classes natin, limited face-to-face classes. But however, I hope that maging mindful tayo somehow, no? I-consider lang natin yung level of social media consumption that is right for you. Sometimes, sabi nga dito, di ba, it's better to be, you should aim to be updated than overwhelmed. No? Sometimes things can be overwhelming for us, na hindi na natin alam kung paano natin i-take in lahat ng mga nakikita nating negativity sa social media, yung pag-aaway-away, yung mga political wars, and a lot of negative news, no, na talaga nakaka-apekto sa ating mental health. So I hope that we can be able to establish a reasonable rate of consumption. Tapos pwede rin naman na check lang tayo ng updates, no, once or twice a day maybe, para lang makonsume lang natin what we really need to know, ano yung pinaka-relevant sa atin, ano yung pinaka-importante na dapat nating malaman na nangyayari sa community natin. And of course, next is help others. That's why I showed you the Be the One PH, the organization that my friends and I started last year, is because I realized that helping others, no, because if you know about the helper principle, it shows that yung pagbigay natin ng tulong sa ibang tao, yung being compassionate, no, yung pag-show natin ng compassion sa ibang tao, it's not just actually a selfless action, no, because it's not an absolute selfless action, because it also gives benefit to the helper, to you, no, parang it gives you helping other people gives you a sense of purpose, gives you a sense of responsibility, and of course it's a great way to feel better about yourself, to feel great, no, that you are actually a good member of your society. And that's what we do, no, nung pumupunta kami, nung nagkakaroon kami ng mga donation drives po, even though online lang namin ginawa yung mostly na to, nung pumunta po kami nung nagkaroon po kami ng mga donation drives, when we hear stories from of those communities that we were helping before, talagang masakit sa puso, and at the same time, pakiramdam namin may mas bigger purpose kami. And just like what I answered kanina kay Dr. Sheikh, I think right now, ang pinaka-importante is hindi mawala yung sense of purpose natin, no matter what it is. No? Kung anong klaseng purpose na meron. I hope that it's positive, of course, na meron kang positive purpose in life, and that would keep you going, that would keep you moving forward, no? Na malalagpasan natin lahat ng pinagdadaanan natin ngayon. And of course, practice self-care and self-love. No, kasi sometimes most of yung mga nasa generation namin, especially sa Gen Z, no, talagang lalo na sa mga social media, no, parang minsan yung value and worth namin nakadepende sa dami ng likes na nakukuha namin sa mga social media platforms. And I think that's one of the reason why the updated version of Instagram is not allowing na for other people to see yung number of likes na meron yung ibang tao, no? Because meron tayong nasa ano daw tayo, nandun na daw tayo sa generation na laging kinukumpara yung sarili natin sa ibang tao and worth natin based on the number of likes that we get online. But I hope that we can be able to recognize our worth and value, and by actually just practicing, no, yung self-love and in self-care, we should not expect other people to give that to us. No, I think it's good when we are receiving that from other people, but I hope that we can give that to ourselves as well. And what is an example of giving self-love and self-care? It's rewarding yourself. Right now, I know it's hard sometimes sa pakiramdam natin, wala tayong accomplishment, wala tayong ginagawa, we are not even moving forward. But I hope that you can reward yourself by being able to accomplish even the smallest things. It gives you a feeling na na-acknowledge ka, no? And you are proud and confident about the progress that you make, kahit minsan sobrang mabagal tayo, as long as you do not stop, 'di ba? Sabi nga nila, okay lang, no? So don't stop there, move, no? Kahit pa unti-unti. And of course, before this, I hope that I am really advocating for normalizing help-seeking behavior natin, na we can, I hope that sabi nga ni Dr. Sheikh, kanina may mga binigay siya about sa general anxiety disorder and sa major depressive disorder. I hope that we'll be able to ask for help when we need it. And I know that asking for help can be very difficult. For some people, it might look like it's an admission of defeat, but no. Sometimes then people may feel that you are a burden, that they are a burden to other people, but no, you are a person, you are a very brave person asking for help, and it's okay. So please normalize help-seeking behavior. We need it right now. And yes, I know that our lives have been negatively affected by this pandemic. Although ngayon may nakikita naman tayo ng mga positive na nangyari, but I hope na sana matapos na to, masolusyonan na yung problema natin, that maging tayo din, let's do our part, no, bilang sabi nga ni Sir Nestor, bilang mga backliners, let's do our part, no, para matapos na itong mga pinagdadaanan natin ngayon. And I know that we all experience feelings of loneliness that physical isolation brings, but I hope that we realize that there's something we can do to fill the void. This may be a time of fear and stress, but let's not allow it to get the best of us. So we need to keep the lines of communication open with our family and friends, because no one should struggle alone. So let's help each other. In what I do, since uso na nga yung mga Zoom ngayon, I always try to do yung mga kumustahan session namin. These are my friends actually. I'm sorry for their faces. I'm sorry kung medyo may wala naman sigurong inappropriate na makikita kayo. But these are my friends, and I'm very thankful because of them, because I have a very strong support system. And I hope that you can have that as well. Hindi lang para sa mga estudyante, kundi para sa ating lahat, na meron tayong strong support system. Because no matter how strong you are, darating pa rin yung time na manghihina ka at kailangan mo ng source of strength. And these are my source of strength. I draw my energy from these people so I can fight my battles again. And before I finish this, I would just leave you with these words. Sometimes people would tell us that life is only suffering when there's joy and love around you. But of course, sometimes nakikita natin na sobrang daming negativity sa buhay natin and konti lang yung positivity. But still, meron pa rin positivity sa buhay natin. I hope that we can refocus ourselves. We need to recalibrate, refocus, and look at that positivity no matter how small it may be. Kasi dapat makita natin na hindi lang lahat na nakita na i-experience natin sa life natin ay puro negativity, right? But of course, let's avoid pa rin yung toxic positivity, lalo na pa nagbibigay tayo ng opinion and nagbibigay tayo ng advice natin, unsolicited advice sa ibang tao, right? And of course, when some people tell you that you cannot do this or that, but you can actually take actions, no? Sometimes we just get tired, so we need to pause for a little while, reflect on our actions, and of course, think of a better way to address our problems or to take actions on the things that we need to deal with. And sometimes people would tell you that there is no way out when there is actually a way out of your sufferings and struggles, no? Hindi lahat ng bagay may katapusan, no? Lahat ng bagay malalagpasan natin, lalo na kapag sabi nga natin, di ba kanina, dapat kailangan natin na mag-move, no, palagi. Hindi tayo pwedeng naka-stuck lang sa isang lugar, no? Let's help ourselves, no? Sometimes kasi umaasa tayo na tulungan tayo ng ibang tao. It's important to have a support system, but I hope that those people can just be your inspiration so you can move again. And sometimes some people would tell you, or some things would tell you that things are hopeless when there is hope. There is hope because hope is the reason why I am still here today. Hope is the reason why I'm able to share my story with all of you. And I hope that you remember that this crisis is temporary and it will end. For now, stay connected to people that you love and care about, and remember to just keep going. And I hope that you can remind yourself that today is not the day that your story ends. And for me, this is how I chose to continue my fight. I hope that you can continue yours as well. Thank you very much po.
Ayan. Thank you very much, Sir Russell John Batoy. Once again, let's put our hands together kay Sir Russell. Ayan, for really, it's not easy to share one's life story dahil alam nyo yon, pribado ang mga impormasyon na yan, ano? And it's like opening yourself, the whole of yourself in and out sa mga tao, and you'll never know what you're gonna get. Sabi nga ni Tom Hanks, doon sa Forrester movie, life is like a box of chocolates. You'll never know what you're gonna get. Diba? Pero of course, I'd like to say it this way. Regardless, at least chocolate pa din ang laman nun. Diba? The brighter side. And that reminded me of one very good song. Ayan, yung Hero. It's really, it really meant something more now. Having heard the story of Sir Russell, and I hope you get to listen to it too and see kung ano yung relative sa experience na dinanas ni Sir Russell, and who knows, some of us here are really experiencing it, and be inspired. But then again, always remember, our God is stronger than anything else. Ayan, ano man ang persuasion mo, ano man ang point of denomination mo, ang reference of spirituality mo, always remember, there is something up there much, much greater than what we think is affecting us now. Diba? Hope is always there. Hope never dies. And so from here, tawagin ulit natin ang ating education supervisor, Sir Victor Castelo, for our Q&A. Sir Victor, please take it away.
Ayan. It seems like walang question but more of thanking Sir Russell on his sharing. Ang lalo ako natuwa dito kanina when I heard him state na you need to reward yourself. On the small things that we accomplish, we need to reward ourselves. Natutuwa ako nun kasi at times naman, small things means a lot. Tama ka, Russell. Tama si Sir Russell. Small things means a lot. So we need to reward ourselves. Pagkakataon, napapagod din kasi tayo eh. Pero when we gift ourselves, we reward ourselves, the more tayong nag-i-strive na, ay, sige nga, makapag-ice cream man lang ako. Yung craving natin minsan, nakakatuwa yung nabanggit ni Sir Russell. Totoo yun, ginagawa. Kaya tumaba ata ako ng ganito. Nare-reward ko sa sarili ko. Kaya hindi naman. And sabi dito sa isa kanina, sa nabasa ko, sometimes yung over expectations natin or too much expectations, it leads to frustrations. Kaya nga sabi nila dito kanina sa reality check, sabi, hindi ka dapat talaga yung not to aim too much. Maging lang, yung normal lang. Ganon. At then, minsan sa mga friends natin na yung nabanggit natin, strong support system, yung support system, so precisely, ito namang mga friends natin, definitely, they will tell you what is right and what is wrong. Gano'n naman talaga. And sabi ng mga kaibigan natin, sabi dito sa nabasa kong isa kanina, we don't give advice, but we give options to consider. Yun ang sabi naman nila. Para nga naman yung mga kaibigan nila, nakakapag-isip din. Ito po, may question na isa from NU Manila. What if po yung mga tao sa paligid mo ay sinasabi, it's only in your mind or head. Kung sino pa yung inaasahan mong tutulong sa'yo, sila pa ang magda-down lalo sa'yo. Ano po ang gagawin nyo? Yun po ang question ni Gemeline Jaca from NU Manila.
Actually, Sir Victor, yung usually mga question na to, lagi ko na-experience. And honestly, I feel really sad whenever I encounter this kind of question because ang lungkot na wala yung mga dapat na tao nga na inaasahan natin na dapat mas makakaintindi sa atin, dapat yung mga kaibigan natin. So I think dapat it's very important na meron tayong yung circle of friends natin, yung mga tao sa paligid natin, talagang alam mo makakatulong sa iyo. Kaya nga nauso ata ngayon yung kina-cut off daw nila yung mga tao na hindi good for their mental health. When it comes to that, no, alam mo what's her name po again? Okay. Gem. Alright. So, sa akin po, ang ginagawa ko talaga ngayon, niisip ko na alam ko lahat ng tao ngayon may problema. Baka sometimes hindi lang nila masabi ng maayos, pero it's just that meron silang sariling struggles na hindi rin alam yung paano nila gagawin. Or maybe they are not knowledgeable enough to deal with those situations. So ako, I really would say na this time, hindi natin talaga palaging kailangan na humingi ng tulong doon sa ibang tao, dumepende sa kanila. No, I mean, if we could get ourselves professional help, that's better. That's one way. Kaya I really would tell you na talagang lalo na ngayon sa NU Manila, kilala ko po yung mga guidance counselors ninyo sa NU Manila. I've been able to work with them. I hope that you can reach out to them if you feel like yung mga friends mo, yung circle mo, hindi mo sila ngayon madependehan, hindi mo sila maasahan ngayon, and they are not knowledgeable to deal with your situation. I hope that you can reach out to professional po. So those people can better process your thoughts, can really help you. If you are not, kung hindi po kayo comfortable to share with your family members or yung mga immediate relatives po ninyo, you can go to professionals. Lalo na po sa mga schools natin ngayon, sana mas ma-empower yung guidance and counseling natin to help more students, especially during this pandemic, because we really need it right now. Some students, it's not that they're weak, it's just that they don't know how to process their thoughts. So nag-adjust sila ngayon, hindi lahat sabay-sabay ng adjustment, hindi lahat kaya ng capacity nila to adjust in one click or in a snap. So yun, and I hope that you can also be able to find your own coping strategies. So each time na pakiramdam mo, mag-isa ka, wala kang katuwang sa problema mo, you have yourself. Because at the end of the day, I think this is our battle alone. And we are the only people na makakapaglaban doon sa battle na meron tayo. Some people na pwede nating makatulong, we just get inspiration from those people, we just draw our strength from those people to fight our battles again. Thank you, sir. I hope I'm able to answer that question.
Okay, here's another question. As a friend of a person that is suffering from depression, what can you propose as the best thing to do to lessen their pain and lighten up their load? Because I don't think that's just being there with them when they need you is enough. Question from Jesser Fajardo.
Ayan. Okay. Well, honestly, sabi ko nga po, especially for those people talaga na diagnosed with depression and yung clinically diagnosed with a mental health condition, it's hard for talagang to just yung magbigay tayo sa kanila ng mga advice or yung kumausap sa kanila kailangan talaga alam natin yung sasabihin natin because sometimes baka mas makaapekto pa sa kanila yung sasabihin natin. And usually po kapag ganito yung mga cases namin, especially sa peer organization, talagang sa amin po kasi it's very effective based po sa mga students that we have encountered, fellow students po namin. It's very effective talaga yung talking session po namin that we let them share. I think important talaga is para makapag-unload sila, magkaroon sila ng outlet na each time that they would feel like everything is too hard, no, or talagang too heavy for them, they have someone na hindi sila iwan. So I hope that hindi tayo magsawa sa kanila. No? That's the very important thing. I think lagi namin sinasabi yung peer counseling and yung even pag-stay lang doon sa mga tao na yon. Wag sana nating tingnan na maliit na bagay yon because it really helps a lot. I mean just those people having people na pwede nilang maging sounding board, it's very important talaga. But however, yun nga, kaya nga sabi natin, if hindi talaga tayo knowledgeable doon or hindi po natin alam kung paano natin i-handle yan, and if you think that your friend really needs help, it's the right time to encourage your friend to seek for professional help. If nandito po si Doc Shake po sana, kung nandito pa po siya, I hope Doc Shake can help me. She's a professional mental health provider.
Anyway, Sir Russ and Sir Vic, provide naman natin kung paano ma-reach sina Dr. Shik and you later on. So, hindi naman ibig sabihin na confined lang tayo within this webinar. Afterwards, you can guys continue communicating with our resource persons today para naman ma-continue natin kung ano yung mga questions natin and probably other insights that would like to share. Ayan. Alright. So, one thing lang na na-notice ko, no, while nag-share si Sir Russell at Sir Vic at saka para sa ating mga participants now, yung tawag dito, may nakakatch ng ng attention ko dito sa chat natin. Yung hugot ba, yung where you draw, totoo naman yun na hindi tawag dito, na dumadating ang time na yung mga tao na ina-expect natin really to understand and to help us. Remember, everybody is hurting. Sabi nga ng isang kanta, everybody hurts now. Hindi natin alam kung paano. Pero one important thing that we can do, one important thing that we can share is to revisit the concept of openness. Yan, to be open. Parang, alam mo yun, yung sa manghuhula ba, ang mga tao sa paligid natin, even our loved ones, our familiars, hindi naman yan mga fortune tellers na babasahin yung isip natin, what are we thinking, what are we feeling, ganyan. It's really difficult. Kailangan meron din sa side natin as the one, the receiving, na give it little by little. I don't know how is this going to happen kasi very unique naman tayo sa bawat isa. Pero that part, yung unti-unti ba natin find ourselves to gradually be open to what we really feel, what we really think, not simply because we want to be resolved immediately. Kung hindi, it's a process. Wala namang instant eh. In fact, ang instant coffee, hindi naman yan talaga instant. Titimplahin mo yan. Pagagalawin mo pa yung kamay mo, kuha ka ng mainit na tubig. In a similar way, sa ating situation na ganito, ganoon din. We have a part. If you want to be understood, then speak out. Then find our strength, our energy, our it. To really open it up. Huwag tayong maging secluded. Ayan. Of course, andyan na si Dr. Shake. Maybe she can add more to that. Dr. Shake, please.
Opo, ako siguro very important for me kung kayo po ay nagkakaroon ng mga concerns. Very important po talaga yung humility na humingi po tayo ng tulong. Kasi of course we have friends, pero very important po natin malaman na hindi po lagi na makikinig lang. Kailangan po talaga ng tulong ng eksperto for assessment, for treatment plan, no? At hindi po talaga ganoon kadali. But with your humility, at saka po yung ina-advocate din namin sa FEU, yung bravery and courage, na kailangan po hanapin din natin yung ating mga pagkakamali. And of course, focus on our action plan. Ano po yung dapat nating gawin, no? At isa sa sinasabi nga po ni Russell, yung tinatawag po na self-care plan, no? So very important po yung paggawa natin ng self-care plan. Kahit 3 lang po, no? 1 for the mind, 1 for the body, and 1 for your spirit, no? So for example, As you wake up in the morning, pwede po, if you are into journaling, you can go for journaling. If you are into music, you can go for music. If you want to go for mindfulness, you can go for mindfulness. And then alagaan din po natin yung katawan natin. Matulog po tayo ng 6 to 8 hours. Ideally 8 hours. Kumain po tayo ng healthy food, mag-exercise po tayo. And of course, very important din po kung kayo po ay spiritual. Sa mga taong hindi spiritual, of course, I respect you for that because we are definitely inclusive. For those who really want to seek God, of course, you can pray, you can go for meditation, you can go for yoga. So, importante po yun, ha? Tandaan po natin para mas maging resilient, yung pagpapakumbaba na humingi ng tulong. Kung hindi po kayo close sa pamilya ninyo, of course, your teachers, your advisors, your true friends and counselors are there. No? Pag hindi nyo po kayang gumawa ng coping mechanism, of course, hingi na po kayo ng tulong ng ating mga eksperto. And napakarami po natin mga free na counseling centers like the National Center for Mental Health, which can definitely help you. Sa PGCA po, meron po tayong Peer Organization of the Philippines. Lahat po yan ay libre, no? Of course, we also have Youth for Mental Health. Si Russell, nagtayo din po siya ng isa pa, yung 1PH, no? At kung ano-ano pa na pwede po natin huminga ng tulong. And of course, lahat po ng ating mga state universities at ng ating po mga eskwelahan, may mga guidance counselor po tayo. At kung ito po ay kulang, of course, may mga peer facilitators po tayo. Okay? So humingi po tayo ng tulong, wag po tayo mag-self-diagnose, no? At wag po tayong mag-self-testing. Importante po yung eksperto. Ngayon, kung kayo po ay makikinig, hindi naman po kasi pwede na makinig kayo. Kasi mapapagod din kayo. Kaya po, importante po yung referral system. No? Kasi minsan, ma'am, ito namang taong ito, tong kaibigan ko, araw-araw ako na lang yung iniiyakan. So, hindi naman din ho pwede yun. Kaya po may tinatawag na referral system. I do hope that I have helped and answered that po.
And yun, Doc Shake po na tama. Ay, sorry, gusto ko lang pong siguro ay bilang isang peer counselor po. We are not professional counselors. We are peer counselors trained po by our professional like Dr. Shake. Yung isa po sa psychological first aid po na ginagawa namin, I think it's very important po yung sa ating mga fellow students lang, yung tinatawag po namin kumusta. And I think one kumusta sa mga taong mahalaga sa atin could really mean a lot. And also, may nakita po ako mga tanong po kanina regarding sa paano daw po matutulungan ng mga educators din mag-reach out kasi hindi naman daw po nag-open yung mga students. Alam niyo po, ang ginawa po namin sa FEU, nagkaroon po kami ng online support group. Every Friday po siya noon. Nagkakaroon kami ng Zoom, no? You have to register yourself. So I think it's very important kasi doon po ginagawa namin, hindi lang po mga peer counselors ang nandun kasi we have the referral system. If guided po ito ng aming guidance counselor, so nandoon din po siya para bantayan and then nagre-refer po kami na mga cases po sa aming mga guidance office para po sa mas professional na help. And I think even po our professors in FEU sa psychology, sila po mismo yung nagbibigay po sa amin ng mga activities or sometimes they try to really be considerate sa mga students nila and not to be really harsh and rude during this time because we are all struggling right now and I think na a little adjustment wouldn't really hurt, no? But as long as it's reasonable. So ayun lang po. Thank you so much.
Ayan. So nakita natin talagang kailangan talaga po yung pagiging open. Yun ang nakikita ko dito po. Anything that we feel, we need to say it. Kailangan malaman, i-share, para maintindihan. Yun po ang nakita ko sa daan po ng mga questions na nandito at yung pagpapaliwanag sa atin nila Doc Shake at ni Russell sa kanyang binigay na na experiential learning actually. So tama, kailangan sabihin. Naalala ko nga po Doc Shake, ma-share ko lang ha. It's an experience then, alam mo, when someone was putting you down, don't take it negative. You need to take it more positive. And then you will alam mo nangyari yan ako tuloy nagbigay ng example.
Nag-sharing din si Sir Victor. That's good. We'll learn from you, sir.
Ganito. Alam mo, Kwento ko lang, I will be sharing this. When I was in the elementary kasi, I won't say what school is this. Ano, advisor ko, I was always being compared to my brother. Mabuti pa si ganito, ganyan. Parang ako lahat ng ginawa ko mali. Lahat ng ginawa ng kuya ko okay. Parang gano'n, ano. So, okay, dala ko yun. Dala ko pala yun. But after how many years? 20 years or 15 years. So we became co-faculty members. Then sinabi ko ngayon sa mga estudyante ko, ay, sir, kinukumusta ka po ni ganitong teacher. Sabi ko, ayoko siyang makita. Ganon. And then, as a kid, andito pala yon. Tapos nung i-confront ako ng teacher, sabi niya, ayaw mo raw akong makita. Ang sabi ko dun sa teacher, yes, because I hate you. You always compare me with my brother. But I am very, very grateful. If not because of you, I will not be here standing in front of you. Thank you very much po. That's what I said. Tapos nawala na siya. Yun sabi ko doon, it became a positive thing. Di ba? You need to prove na I'm worth something pala. Ganun po.
Oo, very good po yung ginawa ninyo, Sir Victor, 'di ba? So hindi po kayo nag-escape but you really go for really confronting your problem. Pero siguro po ako ang masasabi ko lang talaga is kung wala po tayong sasabing maganda at wala po tayong ipopost na maganda, very important po at wala tayo sa mood, iwasan po talaga natin ng teknolohiya because the words can definitely, talaga pong tutusok yan sa puso ng kabataan at ito ay may imprint sa mind ng kabataan. Kaya po mas maganda po na umiwas po tayo. Para hindi tayo magaya sa
I can't
nangyari
agree
kay Sir
more.
Victor.
I can't agree more, Doc Shake and Russell. Alam mo, tawag dito, in one of a clinical case, psychological case, one thing I learned in that particular training, yung bang hindi mo mapipigil kung ano yung nasa isip mo basta-basta eh. Parang yung movie ni sino nga ba to? Ni Jennifer Lopez na The Cell. Anything and everything can happen within the confines of your mind. Pero ang point of contention doon, as much as they are happening inside your mind, pero restraint. Iba na yan kapag ka nag-manifest na yan physically. As long as you can contain it there and come to a point na mabuffer mo siya and all that using all possible help, sources of help, then okay pa yan. But then again, hindi naman sinasabi nung expert na yon na lagi ka mag-isip ng ganon. Hindi. Kung hindi, it really does happen. It exists, lalo na sa mga ganitong trying situations. But always remember, kapag ka ginawa mo na yan, ibang usapan na yan. So, meron tayo ditong actually question. Sabi question ni Charlene Cambia, how will I help myself and cope up sa mga nagda-down sa akin? Their words like, you can't make it. I'm turning it to, I can. But still, masakit pa rin po. How will I handle that? Please help.
Ako po, if I may suggest, know your boundaries, Pag meron po kayong mga toxic people, ignore them, Yan po yung makakatulong sa inyo para mag-self-care. Kung meron po kayong mga naggaganyan, lalo na mga nasa social media account nyo, very important, make it a decision already na tanggalin po sila sa circle ninyo. Okay? Para hindi po tayo matoxic. And of course, that's also self-love and self-care.
Ayan. Oo. Hoy, mga peeps, remember sabi nga ng isang Indian maxim, nobody can make you feel inferior without you allowing it. Nobody can climb up your shoulder without you standing straight. Tumayo ka ng tuwid, wala makakaakyat dyan. Ayan. Another question I think I am seeing here, Doc Shake and Russell, what can you advise po sa mga tao, students who find it difficult, it's really difficult, to open to other people kahit na they can be trusted? How?
Sige. Sahil, gusto mo ba mauna? Oo. Ako, very important sa akin kung hindi ka pa talaga marunong mag-share kasi siguro maraming betrayal na nangyari sa iyo or trust issues and everything. Ako, very important sa akin that you can go for journaling eh. Isulat mo in your diary para magkaroon ng catharsis or tension reduction. So pag nagsulat ka kasi, everyday i-review mo yon in a week, may kita mo ano yung mga natutunan mo. Okay? So tingnan mo yung mga natutunan mo kasi maganda na i-let go mo siya. Okay? Or maybe you can also write it in a tablet or any other activities that you wanted to do, no? Or maybe breathing exercises or meditation. Siguro ako kung kunyari hindi kayo kalmado rin at stress kayo, ito yung pinakamadaling mindfulness, no? Like this. Nakikita niyo yung palm ko? Okay? So this is what you call breathe in and breathe out, no? Breathe in and breathe out. Okay? So breathe in and breathe out. Okay? Or maybe pwede rin kayong gumawa ng 5 senses exercise. So 5 pag kayo po ay nakapag-focus, no? And then hinga po kayo ng malalim. 1, 2, 3 and then breathe in and breathe out. And after that, focus on the 5 senses. 5 things that you see, no? After that, 5 things that you can feel enter into your heart. Tingnan niyo po yung laman ng puso ninyo. Puro galit ba ito? Puro pagmamahal ba ito? No? And after that, ano pa po? 5 things that you can hear. Okay? 2 things that you can touch and 1 thing that you have tasted. So pag mindful po kayo dyan, mariredirect po yung mga negative energies nyo at mapupunta po into your attention and into your body. No? And mindfulness is one of the most evidence-based techniques now. No? So I do hope that you can go for mindfulness, to go for awareness, and refocus. No? Para po yung mga galit ninyo ay ma-release ninyo in the other way around.
Thank you po.
Ayan. Sir Russell. Ayan, Sir Victor, yes.
Yes, thank you, Doc.
Mabagal po ata yung... Narinig niyo po ako?
Yes po.
Ayan na, dear. Ayan na.
So actually, medyo nawawala po ata yung aking internet. But ako po personally, may mga times po talaga na I can't even share what I feel po sa ibang tao. So what I do talaga, ito po mga coping skills na ginagawa ko minsan. Kapag ka talagang feel ko mabigat yung problema ko, I do something na pakiramdam ko may ma-accomplish ako. Even the small things. What I do po personally, I cook. Now I can say that I am a responsible member of our household. I even tell my mom na, Mommy, nasa ibang bansa, magko-call yung mommy ko just to watch me cook. And then she's proud of me. And then it makes me give parang a sense of a purpose again. Na parang, okay, I can share what I feel, but I turn it into something good. I turn it into something positive. And I think sa psychology din po may tinatawag tayong gano'n, no? Yung tinuturn natin minsan yung mga negative emotions natin into positive things na pwede natin gawin. Na it can be helpful for you, for your friends or family. Yes, the sublimate. So yun po, that's what I do. And yes, of course, breathing exercise. And sometimes I don't, whenever I feel yung strong surge of negative emotions, I don't listen to sad songs. I try to uplift my emotions. I try to listen to sometimes worship songs. My parents are both CFC leaders in Qatar. But I'm not a really religious person. But talagang with their words, I feel sometimes na talagang I need spirituality. I need the help of spirituality in my life. And yes, breathing exercise, and also I watch things, so I try to distract myself sa mga positive na bagay na pwede ko pang gawin. Just for a moment. Para lang mag-ground lang ulit ako, mabigay lang ulit yung focus na kailangan ko. That's what I do po personally. Thank you po.
Sir Ness, yeah. Nakamute si Sir Ness?
Oo nga eh. Ang gano'n. Anyway, totoo yan, napaka-practical niyan. Alam nyo ba, sabi ko nga, teka muna, sa mga naka-experience ko ditong pandemic ito, toxic na nga lahat, magpapaka-toxic pa ako. Ayoko malason at ayoko rin makalason. Diba? Yung at least in my own way, maybe you can take something from here sa ating mga students, yung bang I call it the attitude. Again, attitude works a lot pagdating sa ganito. Halimbawa, hindi ko nagawa yung yung module ko, napagalitan ako na, there's another naman and I will make it better, promise, di ba? Tapos, pipintasan ako, papansinin ako ng mga ganyan. Sa akin naman, tingnan mo muna sarili mo, no? Baka mamaya ako lang nakikita mo. Yung self-affirmation, yun ang, well, I cannot be contented na, okay, I only know 3 persons, myself, those better than me, and those whom I am better. For those I am better, I have to be an inspiration. For those better than me, ayoko magmaasim. Ayokong maging sour grape. I mean, I would like to know, ang galing niya. Paano niya ginawa yun? Hindi yung, kaya lang naman ganyan yan, ganun, ganyan. Avoid that. Be inspired and be an inspiration. Diba? Otherwise, ay naku, magiging bitter ka, mahihiya sa'yo ang ampalaya. Dahil bitter siya pero healthy. Ikaw, bitter na, bitterest to the max ka pa. Hello, get a life. Diba? Ayun. So, ika nga, find something to inspire you to be happy. Dito, alam nyo, sa aking household, ang kukulit ng mga, may mga apo na ako, by the way. Ayan. Tapos,
Lolo
aking
ka
mga
na pala, sir. You don't look like, Oo.
Yung mga pets, kapag ka nagtatakbuhan, nilalaglag yung mga kalakal ko sa ibabaw na ganyan, magagalit ka ba? Hala, what do you expect sa pets kundi pagtutumbahin, ang mga gamit mo? So God provided us with little things. Remember, little things for us to, to pull out from. Huwag mong paghanapan ng ibang tao ng mga bagay na hindi nila maibibigay. In a similar way, you can never give what you do not have. And we always anchor it to our spirituality na hiningin mo kay Lord to have something to give until such time that ikaw mismo maging inspiration. Just like what's happening now with Sir Russell and Doc Shake. They are gifts from God. Mga falling angels, hindi fallen angels. Falling. Diba? Ayan. And will take us under their wings, ayan, to see life in a better perspective. Naku, ang dami ko ng kuda. Sandali, na tayo? Awarding na tayo. Pinaprompt na ako dito, no? Ayan. Sir Russell and Sir Doc Shake. Ayan. For this part, of course, we are privileged to have with us in our web room, ayan, our Chief Education Program Specialist for CHED NCR, Dr. Dennis Rebueno. Sir Chief.
Baka nakamute si Sir Denny.
Yeah, na-mute po ako. I'm sorry.
Ayan.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Teng. And for our sharers this morning, Madam Sheikh and Mr. Russell, who has given us their a portion of their lives. Look at that. With so many participants that we have today, ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed a full day for all of us. And so, for my part, may I award now the certificate of appreciation to our speaker, Mr. Russell John Batoy of FTU. The certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to him for sharing his invaluable time and expertise as resource person in the hashtag Kamalayan Progressive Webinar Series 3 with the theme preparing oneself, mind matters, preparing oneself, embracing the new normal, held on 7th day of April 2021 via Zoom in CHED HEDC building, Quezon City. Signed by our Honorable Regional Director, Dr. Virginia D. Acate, CESO 3. Thank you very much, Mr. Russell, for sharing a portion of your life and for making sure that we will be inspired by your great big heart, no? The brave heart of Mr. Russell. Thank you so much. We now award this to Mr. Russell John
Yay!
Bato.
Maraming
Maraming
salamat po,
bagsak sabay
sir.
Skiri. TikTok Skiri. Skiri. Maraming salamat. May your tribe spread.
Increase.
Yan.
Maraming salamat, Sir Nestor, and sa inyo pong lahat. Doc Shake.
Okay, maraming salamat. Ayan po. So once again, that was Sir Russell John Batoy. You can communicate with him, continue your inquiry together with Doc Shake. Just follow their social media accounts, ayan, para po maka-updates tayo and all that. So from here, we would like to acknowledge, of course, ang mga men and women behind this undertaking ng ating webinar. So I would like to acknowledge, of course, the following. Yan. Para sa ating tech team, a combination of the admin and then the technical division. Thank you very much, of course, sa ating director. Yan, our one and only Dr. Virginia D. Apiate for the guidance and always the support. Dr. Dennis Rebueno, our Chief Education Program Specialist. Ma'am Regina B. Fortes, our Chief Administrative Officer. Thank you. Of course, ang ating Ma'am Liza, don't get mistaken, don't get fooled. She is no Liza Soberano. She is better, of course. Ma'am Liza Libertine El Magana, our Supervising Education Program Specialist. We have also our supervisors, Dr. Belia Flor Coronado, Dr. Annalyn P. Diaz, Dr. Renato Villegas. Ay, paramdam naman kayo. Please show up your videos. Our Ma'am Marife P. Flores, our goddess. Yan. Our Ma'am Edita Paragas, Miss Mary Jen Cafino, Mr. Victor Castello, Michelle A. Barit, and your one and only, ako po ang inyong abala, ang Sharcy Affairs, Nestor Tadena. Siyempre, hindi nawawala ang ating tech. Nandiyan si Miss Rowena Malabanan, Mr. Freddy Landicho, Mr. Melvin Bermas, Miss Samantha Ontal, hindi Samantha Bernardo, Samantha Ontal, let me emphasize that, and Mr. John Michael Dahanay, and of course, the support of our central office from our commissioners, Drs. Lilian de las Llagas, Dr. Ronald Adamat, Dr. Perfecto Alibin, Dr. Aldrin A. Darilag, and the OSD SOIC, Dr. Marivic B. Iriveri. Ayan, at syempre sa ating chairperson, Dr. J. Prospero Popoy de Vera. Maraming salamat po sa bawat isa. And from here, we shall be, teka muna, isang round of applause dyan for appreciating one and all. Maraming salamat. At syempre sa inyo na nakasubaybay sa ating programa, ay maraming salamat. God bless you all. So from here, we shall be rendered an artistic rendition from the pamantasan ng lungsod ng Muntinlupa, the winning piece in the ASEAN 2020 Choral Competition.
Like nakamute. Nakamute po.
Nakamute.
Yan. Okay na.
Nakamute. Ayan, maraming salamat po. That was our pamantasan ng lungsod ng Muntinlupa, one of the premier local universities in the National Capital Region for their rendition of their winning piece in the ASEAN Choral Competition 2020 virtual po. Ayan, pero take note na-render nila ng maganda. So thank you very much once again. Ayan po. So from here, punta naman po tayo para sa highlights and synthesis ng ating today's event that will be shared to us by no less than our education supervisor, Ms. Marife P. Flores.
Yes, ayan. Na-unmute ko din sarili ko. Okay. Thank you, host, for letting me unmute myself. And to all our participants, maraming salamat po for staying on. It's almost 12:30, pero andito pa rin po kayo. So maraming salamat po. And let me just give you a quick wrap-up or synthesis of what happened in today's activity. First, of course, we have our welcome address by our very own regional director. And she emphasized that by started the welcome by singing, "This is the day that the Lord has made," emphasizing that we should always thank the Lord every day of our lives despite this pandemic happening to us. And she also mentioned that this is a series of webinars consisting of 15 or 16 webinars for all the 16 regions of the country. And this is an initiative of the CHED and the DOH Joint Memorandum Circular for the gradual reopening of classes. And although the pandemic is a big challenge for everyone, especially for the HEIs, because they have to change their mode of delivery from on-site learning to online learning, this should not stop the students from pursuing their dreams and continue their education. Thus, this conduct of seminars will help them in coping up with the new normal, especially in the if we will have the gradual reopening of classes. So she reminded everyone to prepare ourselves in embracing the new normal and to always be a blessing to others. Next, we have the Zoom netiquette, which was enumerated by Ms. Editha Paragas. And also we have the rationale of the program, which was said to us by our supervising education program specialist, Ms. Liza Libertine Magana. These are the following. First, to provide the students with fundamental understanding of the psychological well-being. Second is to capacitate students in identifying and manifesting specific management and strategies necessary in overcoming their struggles with the new normal. And third, to acquire insights on the experiences of people in surviving and adapting to the changes that comes with the pandemic. This was followed by the introduction of the guest speaker by Dr. Annalyn Diaz and the presentation of Dr. Hoxon. Excuse me. Dr. Hoxon has the following agreement to focus on. First is our strength, your strength and well-being. Second, your family, loved ones, and friends. Third, strength of the school, church, and community. 4, strength of the country. 5, nourish your strength. And 6, be grateful for your strength. So she said that we should focus on those matters. And we also learned a new word, VUCA, V-U-C-A, which is the fragile version of the VUCA is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And we can turn this
into something positive, or the agile version of VUCA, which is vision, to have our vision, understanding, clarity, and agility. So she emphasized on turning what is negative to what is positive, and always focus on what is positive. And she encouraged everyone to participate actively by asking questions to the participants. She also shared about the risk of oversharing in social media, which might have a control on our lives. And she focused on what is your number one strength symbol as a student in the following times. And as shared by the participants, some of the answers are family, God, parents, daughter, prayer, positive mindset. So she said that the formula for strength is first discover your talents and soar high with strength, and investment or purposeful event to practice, develop, and build your knowledge, which is your strength to constantly provide near perfect performance. So she gave the infamous elevator incident and what would we do if we are in a similar situation. And the answer of the student from Caraga is very good, considering that he did not react negatively, but rather pinabayaan lang niya. Hindi niya pinansin yung situation at nag-focus na lang siya sa kung ano yung positive. So yes, most of our talks is really based on positivity and what we could do to really cope up with this pandemic. So she also said about something about strength-based health and wellness. She said, we have to build upon our dreams, build upon our hopes and aspirations, build upon your family and community strength. Do what you enjoy and emphasize the positive. So those are the things that are most useful that we can also apply in our lives. So for the question and answers, this was led to us by Mr. Victor Castelo, and I think we have so many questions that were answered likewise by Dr. Hoxon. Like gusto namin pumasok pero ang mga magulang namin natatakot papasukin kami, anong ang dapat namin gagawin? So Dr. Hoxon answered that tignan daw natin kung ano ang basis ng takot. Sa ngayon, ang webinars na ito ay mga guidelines na makakatulong sa malamang na pag-reopen ng mga classes. At sabi din ni Victor, nag-assist po ang CHED. In fact, he's one of those who visits the school to evaluate the capacity of the schools to have face-to-face learning. Another question is, mandatory po ba ang vaccine? Sabi naman ng mga vaccine advocate, matutulungan ang ating pamilya pag tayo daw po ay nagpa-vaccine. That's according to Dr. Hoxon as she consulted with vaccine advocates. So another question is, where do we draw the line if we are falling in our positive thoughts? Sabi ni Dr. Hoxon, tignan ang perspective para maging positive. Tignan kung ito ay katotohanan o isang exaggeration lamang. For our second speaker, Mr. Russell John Batoy, it's really a heartwarming testimony of his own life. Sabi nga, mahirap na i-share ang sarili mong buhay dahil ito ay pribado. But as it is said, yung Brave Heart Project nga it's really brave for him to have shared his testimony. Sabi niya, failure is just a detour. What matters is we stand up again. And he has also shared that although he grew up in a very happy family, in some parts of his life, dahil sa pag-abroad ng kanyang parents, naapektuhan ito and yun, his life began to change in a negative way that he began to skip classes at hindi na maganda ang kanyang mga naging grades. But then he stood up again, and when depression hit him, he was hospitalized. But then ang kanyang support system is that his family and his friends supported him so much as if nothing happened. When he woke up one day na in the hospital, nandun sila, and yun, they were all smiling and as if nothing wrong happened. So what did he do to cope up with stress? Ito yung mga ilang points na kanyang na-share sa atin. First is recognize your stress. Second is manage your thoughts and feelings. So, paano mo ma-manage ang inyong thoughts and feelings? Of course, you have to understand the issue so that you can help. It can help you by understanding the issue. It can help you to solve your problem and to accept uncertainty. Third is know your limitations. Know when not to overextend yourself. Fourth, be mindful of your social media consumption. Be updated but not overwhelmed with the negative news or things that you see on social media. Know what is relevant. And five, help others. How do you do this? By being an advocate or using your privilege to support more vulnerable communities. Another one is to practice self-care and self-love. Ang ibig niya lang sabihin dito is you should recognize your own self-worth and value and do not compare yourself with others. Kasi ang daming effect daw ng social media sa atin, we tend to compare ourselves with others when we see their accomplishments on social media. 7 is reward yourself. So, kung na-acknowledge mo na ang inyong self-worth, may mga accomplishments ka, you should reward yourself for your accomplishment. Hindi mo kailangan ng ibang tao to reward you, but you yourself should give a reward to what you have done. And last, we need to keep our communication lines open to our family and friends. So, yan po yung mga na-share sa atin ng ating mga speakers. And I hope that I have synthesized the event for today's activity. And thank you for listening and thank you for your support and cooperation. Mr. Teng Tadena, Mr. Nestor Tadena, please.
Ayan, I'm back. Ayan, hindi pa po tayo tapos. Of course, thank you very much, Ma'am Marife, for capturing the details of our today's event. And once again, our event for today is a Kamalayan Progressive Webinar Series, Mind Matters, Preparing Oneself, Embracing the New Normal. At syempre po, may I just again acknowledge the team behind our undertaking this afternoon. Ano po, walang iba, led by no less than our beloved Regional Director, Dr. Virginia D. Acate. Thank you very much, ma'am, for the unceasing support. Our team lead para po dito sa ating event na ito, our Supervising Education Program Specialist, Ma'am Liza Libertin Magana, and of course, our supervisors, diyan po si Dr. Belio Flor Coronado, Dr. Annalyn P. Diaz, Dr. Renato Villegas, Miss Marife Flores, Miss Edita Paragas, Miss Marijan Cafino, Mr. Victor Castelo, Michelle Obari, Mr. Erwin Beltran, of course, and yours truly, Nestor M. Tadena, and of course, dyan si Ma'am Weng, Ma'am Freddy, Sir Melvin, Sam, and everybody. Maraming pong salamat sa ating NCR family, for working, putting all this together para po sa inyo. Of course, ating mga partners, ang ating mga stakeholders, ang ating mga beloved students, all for our service to you. Ayan. So at this point, we are now about to close our today's event, and may we call on our Chief Education Program Specialist, Dr. Dennis Rebrene, for our closing remarks.
Yes, thank you everyone. Thank you, Teng. I just would not like to prolong the agony of everyone by not taking your lunch on time. And so what I would like to say is that in these times, in these vulnerable times, in these uncertain times where we had the pandemic, nobody wants to lose their sanity, as we wanted to preserve our lives. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this has been really a fruitful day for all of us. We have learned so many things, and we are overwhelmed by the comments on our activity today. So with that, therefore, for and on behalf of the CHED National Capital Region and the CHED Central Office, our Regional Director and CHED, Dr. Virginia Diakyate, as well as our Chair, Popoy De Vera, we would like to thank everyone for participating in this worthy activity for all of us. We really need to talk to everyone in these times of pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, we should bear in mind that during these times, we are not alone. God is with us, our families are with us, and of course, our friends are with all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much and good day to everyone. Keep safe, one and all. Thank you po at maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Sir Dennis. With all that said, alam niyo po, in behalf of our CHED NCR family, this has been Nestor Padena, your Education Supervisor, CHED NCR, signing off. Vaya con Dios. God bless us all. Godspeed.
Bye-bye.
Photo op tayo.
At photo operation. Photo ops.
Photo op tayo.
Opportunity natin for pictures.
For documentation.
Nandiyan pa mga
videos.
Open your camera. Your videos.
Kindly open your videos po for the photo ops.
Maligo ka.
Andy, please count.
For page 1 po. 1,
Po.
2, smile. Page 2, 1, 2, smile. 1, 2, smile. 10 pages mo. Okay po.
Tapos na?
Wala na pong naka-on sa ibang pages.
Okay na?
Apo, salamat po.
Salamat, everyone.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all.
Salamat po. Salamat.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you,
May
everyone.
hapon po ulit for another webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Please attend the series of webinars until the
Stay
16th
safe.
region.
Stay safe and be healthy always. Bye.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you and congratulations.
Thanks,
Thank you,
RD.
Mr.
Thanks
Russell.
po. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Salamat po sa Region 3.
Thank you, Region 3. Thank you, Ma'am Tess.
Thank you, Ma'am Tess.
Thank you,
Sir
Josh.
Joshua, yung recording po,
Yes po.
send na lang po sa aming CHED NCR email. Thank you.
Good afternoon po sa lahat and thank you for joining.
Thank
See you in
you.
the next succeeding webinars. Bye-bye po.